What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another Rev Sports Wrap It Up. I am Josh Mabry, alongside the lovely Soul. How are we doing today?
Doing good. Excited to talk about a lot of sports.
We got a lot of sports. Which you see me, I'm not aggravated. You see this smile? It's because it's sports, man. And it's just when I instead of Sesame Street, I was watching Sports Center. So here we are, 30-something years later. Anyway, so and we got a lot to go to. Let's just jump right into it. We've got a World Series final. It was basically who we thought it was going to be all year, based on how the structure of the teams are. So we have a World Series final between the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Storied programs, obviously the Yankees. Dodgers, coming from Brooklyn, they still have a storied history as well. But let's recap of how we got here. So we'll present a slide. And as I run down kind of how Yankees and the Dodgers defeated the Cleveland Guardians and the New York Mets, the New York Mets had a magical run. And unfortunately, they ran into just a better team. I just call it what it is. Yep. There's no way around it. It wasn't like the Mets played bad. They weren't even supposed to, even though he was like the Mean Girls, they're not supposed to be here. Type of thing.
No Subway Series this year.
No Subway Series. And plus, after like the second or third game, you could tell like the Dodgers were the better team. But let's run it down. So Yankees versus Cleveland. Cleveland beat the Yankees 7-5 in Game 3. Yankees beat Cleveland 8-6 in Game 4, which the 7-5 victory was a walk-off extra innings home run. And thankfully, I got to see my Ruckus Wrestling co-host Justin Toner, who is a Yankees fan. I got to see him live react to it, which I was expecting more of tears, but whatever. We'll get to hopefully if the Dodgers do a walk-off, but it was nonetheless. He already see the writing was on the wall. But Yankees ended up beating Cleveland 8-6 in Game 4. Yankees beat Cleveland 5-2 in Game 5. Giancarlo Stanton wins ALCS MVP. And let's show who I think is probably arguably not under Shohei Ohtani is the best pure player in baseball, which is Juan Soto, who is of 25 years old. But let's watch this nice little home run here.
Boom. Got a steal. Soto, a high fly ball to center. Thomas backing up. Thomas at the track. And Juan Soto.
Out of here.
A 3-run home run.
Another sad thing about the Yankees going forward, we're not going to see all these wonderful baseball beards.
No, they have a thing. Just so you know, guys, you have to be clean shaven if you're a Yankee.
On
that. So.
An incredible moment as Juan Soto goes deep to give the Yankees a 5-2 lead in the 10th inning.
So Soto is just in a different atmosphere as far as baseball players. That where he was waiting for that fastball in that game. He was playing with he's 25 years old. He was playing with the pitcher. He knew he controlled that whole at bat. He was fouling things off they needed to, because he was like, I can do this. It was kind of like Captain America. I can do this all day. And then finally the pitcher was like, screw it, throwing heat down the middle, 95 mile an hour, center field, gone. And it was just, if you're ever going to teach young kids about how to do an at bat and know how to manipulate and get the pitcher where you want, this is what I would show them. This was New York does it.
But that tells you how good he is that we are complimenting a Yankee.
Yeah. You got to sometimes when you see good, solid, just fundamental, excellent baseball, I don't care what they're wearing on the front of their jersey or whatever they want to call them in baseball, jersey to me, just because I was raised. They're not kits, guys. That's soccer. I know that much. Or they say like the front of your uniform. They just do a whole uniform thing. And why managers still wear uniforms in baseball, I still don't understand. But that's not here nor there. That's not what this show's about. But just Juan Soto is going to make so much money. He might be, because there's no salary cap, he might be the first baseball player to sign $1 billion contract. I don't think it's going to happen, but he's 25 years old. Shohei just signed one for $500 million. He's going to make more than that. The market just went up on Juan Soto because of his age. It's not like he's like a 30-year-old or 28-year-old. Dude's 25. That's a lot of baseball left and how good he already is.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to the Dodgers and Mets, as I alluded to before, and I really enjoy. And like I said, New York sucks, but the Mets were magical this year. Now, this was my favorite story of the year.
Yeah.
With the Mets, but unfortunately, they turn back into a pumpkin. But if you're going to turn back into a pumpkin in LCS, I'll take it.
Right.
As Mets fans, I'm not one. I would like to just get to the playoffs. That'd be fun. As a Reds fan, I'm liking where we're going, but that's not. We're not on Reds talk. You don't want to see me depressed right now. The Dodgers beat the Mets 10-2 in Game 4, and then the Mets beat the Dodgers 12-6 in Game 5. Now the Mets are the first team to not strike out in a postseason game since the Angels in Game 2 of the 2002 World Series. This has only ever happened 11 times in MLB history, and this is the third time since the expansion era since 1961. So,
yeah,
hang the banner, Mets, I guess, on that one. And then, unfortunately, inevitably, I thought it would go 6 or 7, and it did. It went Game 6 where the Dodgers beat the Mets 10-5. They had it at one point. I think they were down 6-3 at one point, and they had bases loaded, and the Dodgers got out of it.
Yeah,
and it was just like that was it. Once that inning was over, the writing was on the wall. That was their time to capitalize.
That's so crushing. When you have bases loaded and you don't get any runs. Soul crushing.
Soul crushing. The momentum stayed with the Dodgers, and it was like the 6th inning, I think that was at the time. And if you don't capitalize on that, especially being the underdog in this, because you can only contain the Dodgers so much as far as their bats are concerned. Because I really do think top to bottom, the Dodgers have better bats, but the Yankees. Again, I think.
We're rooting for the Dodgers here on Rev. There's only one Rev host that's not rooting for the Dodgers, but he's not here tonight, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yes. Join me and the Yankee fan, Justin Turner, tomorrow night for Ruckus Wrestling as we talk everything that is and was and will be in wrestling world. We've got a lot to talk about over there as well. But here is the moment the Dodgers won. There might be a mute for obvious reasons. All right, give me a second here. This is how production works. And I am going to easy grounder, and there you go. The Dodgers are going back to the World Series. Shohei Ohtani. That's why I said Juan Soto is the second best at maybe, because Shohei Ohtani might be the greatest all-around baseball player we've ever seen. Dude's an excellent pitcher. Didn't even pitch this year, but went 50-50. 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases.
And it's only a matter of time. Baseball for a pitcher to be such a good bat as he is. Like that's so rare in baseball. So the fact that he's not pitching and yet he can still be so pivotal to the team. I joked earlier that we're rooting for the Dodgers here, mostly out of hate for the Yankees, but then also because they're my former boys. I got repping Red Sox right now, Kike and Mookie Betts. So I'm always gonna wish good things for them, even though they're not repping these colors anymore.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, Mookie's a Nashville kid, so I'm good with it. Mookie, hey, you won the World Series. He got your all World Series. Then he got his money.
Yeah.
So, and I think he has 2 World Series, which I say 1.5 because he won one during the COVID. That's kind of an asterisk type thing. Shorter season, not the true run of the mill, but hey, they still put it on.
A win's a win.
A win's a win. So that's what I said. you still get credit, just not full credit.
We do have one more story in baseball. It's not about the 2024 season. It's about 2025. Tropicana Field in Tampa, Florida, will not be ready for opening day on March 27th due to damage sustained due to Hurricane Milton. There has not been a decision on where the Rays will play for their 2025 season. Some people online have made the joke that the city of Oakland can do the funniest thing, which that would be hilarious. Most likely it's going to be one of the training facilities in Florida. There's a gazillion of them because you either go to Florida or Arizona for spring training. So, but thoughts on Tropicana Field? The roof is gone.
I mean, yeah, they blew the roof off the thing.
Right.
I was trying to think of something better than that corny joke. But, you're going to make do. I mean, Northwestern is getting University of Northwestern. I mean, even Vikings, when they were unfortunately their roof caved in because of so much snow, so they realized they had to get another stadium, and they played at the University of Minnesota for a year. This isn't the first time that just shit happens, and you have to pivot and figure it out. Northwestern,
and COVID, all the Canadian teams had to find places to play in the United States.
So this isn't the first time that you just had to make do. And hey, I've been to spring training before. That's pretty cool. So to see a spring training setting, but it's still Major League Baseball. The only thing I would say push back on is I hope it's still the distance for home runs, because if you go to a shorter ballpark, that's going to if that player ends up, let's just say, hitting 61, doing the Aaron Judge. I forgot the Yankee that we were Roger Mathis. Even if you did the Aaron Judge, Roger Mathis, hitting over 60 home runs, if like 7 of them came from this ballpark that had a shorter outfield, you might have purists being like, "Well, it's not the same." I'm like, well, it's not the same, and blah 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 blah. I'm like, dude threw the ball, dude hit the ball went up beyond regulation. So, but that's the only little tidbit as far as those baseball purists that will do the, like you said, the will actually thing. It's the same thing I said about the Dodgers when they won the COVID World Series, or World Series during COVID, but we just all call it the COVID World Series in that regard. But thankfully, this was just damage. Again, we always say it was crazy hurricane, but you can replace a roof. You can't replace a life. Yep. So I will take this as a glass half full of, it sucks, but you can always rebuild that. You can't rebuild a life.
Yeah. And no more hitting the ceiling and ending up on second base, because that was the rule. Yeah. When if you hit the ball too hard and it hit the ceiling, you get automatic second base.
Yep. Yeah. But no, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, the Yankees going to get 28. They're going to get their 28. They finally got over the hump of getting back to the World Series. And as much as I like the Dodgers.
Why are you trying to bring the mood down?
I'm just giving you my prediction.
Dodgers all the way, baby.
I will gladly take away my tombstone of knowing ball if the Yankees lose. I'll do it that way. Okay. But I got to call a spade a spade. I think the Yankees have a better team.
We'll see.
Yeah. But we're going to move on from a round ball to a lemon-shaped ball. And that is huck it, chug it, football. That's right. Spell it Fottbaw. Football. As we go through, I'm going to run through, as I say every week, but I still always like to remind all our new listeners, I will run through the scores and some storylines of the NFL. I will not go through individual accolades in a sense, because you can join myself and Tvshka on Mondays to go through on our fantasy F around, where we talk about all those individual accolades and fantasy football talk. So I would just go through mainly just scores and storylines and things like that as I go through these. Broncos beat the Saints 33-10 with the Sean Payton homecoming to the Saints, and he told them, "I'm a better coach than what you have." Jaguars beat the Patriots in London 32-16. Lions beat the Vikings. The Vikings are no longer undefeated. They are 5-1 at 31-29. Bills beat the Titans 34-10. Colts beat the Dolphins 16-10. Dolphins suck. The Seahawks beat the Falcons 34-14. Packers beat the Texans 24-22. That was a really good game. Bengals beat the Browns 21-14. Deshaun Watson got hurt, tore his Achilles. Every meme you can think of came out. Shout out to his, Jameis Winston came out in support of him. Fans were booing. Fans were applauding him getting injured. His teammates did support him, but
I mean, if he was in jail, he wouldn't have gotten hurt.
No, but it's all civil. But I would hate to be the person in charge of physical therapy with that. And but then the Eagles beat the Giants 28-3. And I'll run down a couple of things, and I'll go back to the videos that we have breaking down here. Rams beat the Raiders 20-15. Commanders beat the Panthers 4-7. Chiefs beat the 49ers 28-18. Yeah, they're still undefeated. Who cares? They suck. Whatever. Steelers beat the Jets 37-15. Ravens beat the Buccaneers 41-31 with Chris Godwin. Don't look it up if you're squeamish. He dislocated his ankle, and basically one foot was here, one foot was here. I'll put it that way. But he dislocated his ankle at the end of the game. And then the Cardinals beat the Chargers 17-15. This was an ESPN Plus only. So if you didn't have ESPN Plus, you didn't see the game. But guess what? You didn't miss anything either. So going back to it, we have a couple of videos here. And this is one of a Saquon Barkley who went back to his former team with the Giants, who basically just said, let him go. And if anyone caught up with the Hard Knocks, the GM was like, I basically let him do whatever he wants. And the owner was like, I'd hate to see him sign with the Eagles. And guess what? He signed with the Eagles. Guess what? He's really freaking good. I think he rushed for 172 yards against the Giants in his homecoming.
I wouldn't know.
Right. But he had a chance to get his career high in a single season game. This was his response when the coach said, hey, are you sure about that?
You're 13 yards away from your career high. I would love for you to get that, but that's up to you. I just don't want. I'm going to take out all the starters if they don't score.
You good? Let them eat.
You sure?
Yeah. Good. I promise.
I'll listen to me. I want you to do it if you want to do it.
So I'd rather see the young boys eat.
I just love Saquon.
I don't know much about football, as I just said a second ago. I was like, I would know. But I saw this video and I'm like, I'm a fan now.
Yeah.
Like, I love I want the young boys to eat. So shout out, man.
Yeah. I will say this. Yes, you know how bad my Cowboys are? They were on a bye week and I still swear to God they gave up 10 points. Like, that's just how bad it is. Okay. So we were on a bye week, so I didn't have to get too heartbroken this weekend on that. But like I said, I'm just a Lamar fan at this point. The dude's balling out. He's on path to have a back-to-back MVP season. Lamar, don't get hurt, for the love of God. That's all I got.
You better knock on some wood right now.
Right. And speaking about Ravens, we finally found he came out of the woodwork, mainly because I didn't go to the right source where he was recording now. But our favorite Ravens correspondent, Ronnie Raven, is giving his thoughts on the Ravens' victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Woo! It's good to be a Ravens fan, baby. Suck my big paper, babe. Oh, y'all thought y'all really had us, huh? Oh, Baker, you thought you was good, huh, that first drive. Then what happened, Baker? What was you in the kitchen baking after that? A fucking interception souffle? Fuck you. You ain't nothing but Gardner Minshew with a fucking barber, yo. Mike Evans, you never want to root for injuries, but perhaps God was sending a message to the rest of the league to not score touchdowns against his chosen team, the Baltimore Ravens. Just something to think about if the rest of the players don't want to get injured this season. Do not score against us. Oh, my God, we was fucking them up. Yo, Lamar was looking downright Joe Flacco-ish with them deep balls, yo. Oh, my Lord. It was a good win, but I want to take a minute to be serious here because it has come to my attention that a member of the Ravens family is being railroaded by the criminal justice system. I am, of course, speaking of that guy that fucked up those 2 pussy Redskins fans last week. It's a crime to be passionate now. It's a crime to be a passionate fan in this woke mind virus society. What has become of us, yo? That's why I've started a charity called the Official Tampa Bay Hurricane Relief Charity. The goal is to trick people into thinking they're helping Buccaneers fans get their houses back after a hurricane, but actually we're paying that guy's legal bills. Go Ravens! Y'all go check out Starvos Hawkins. He's going to be at the Lyric on Thanksgiving weekend, and he's got a new movie coming out this weekend called Let's Start a Cult. We're going to the Super Bowl!
All right. That's totally Ronnie. That's totally not a character that Stavros Zacchaeus is playing.
Not at all.
Not at all. But as long as, but Ronnie just gives us good content as far as giving us a check-in on how the Ravens are doing. He totally was not playing a character saying that the guy that just walked around the street and just started beating up on Washington Commanders fans because they were wearing a jersey, which is the most dubious douchebag thing ever that we condone as this show is. And he rightfully is getting his upcomings of being such a douchebag. But the thing is Ronnie's a douchebag. If you didn't realize that. So that's why, I'm with him.
We love him anyways, though.
We love him anyways because he's hilarious.
But one thing I do want to talk about this week, my Dolphins.
Yeah.
Because of you guys, I've gotten a little more into football. I blame you guys because I'm very much, as Tvshka said about being a fair weather fan when it comes to the Kansas City Royals, whether they're good or not. That's me with the Miami Dolphins because I don't really care about American football. But I was just like, you know what? I'm going to watch this game. And Dolphins, they were beating the Colts 10-3. Turn on the TV. And we turned over the ball. The Colts got a touchdown. And I said, fuck this shit, and turned the TV off. So I'm not saying it's my fault that they lost. But yeah.
Well, welcome to being a Dolphins fan this year, because this is you're going to be like, we have so much potential, and then we lose. Mm-hmm. You all in the Jets, right? But speaking of not being in misery, another correspondent we have is our Chiefs correspondent, here to talk about the trade to the now new empire that is the Kansas City Chiefs, going for the unprecedented that's never been done. They're going for history of a three-peat. They just signed, or traded, not signed. They traded for a wide receiver from the Tennessee Titans, DeAndre Hopkins, I believe for a 4th round. And he's still good. So let's rook him on.
Did somebody say Chiefs?
Yeah.
Did someone say Chiefs? I heard Chiefs somewhere.
And I'm going to step away because I'm tired of hearing about the fucking Chiefs.
Oh my
and I'll be right back.
God. Yeah. Go ahead, bud. Go cry your heart out in your fucking star jersey. Fucking losers, man. I tell you. We're in villain mode, by the way, guys. Everybody hates us, and we love it because we're winning. It just sucks. I mean, we know how the Patriots felt back in the 2000s, but DeAndre Hopkins, welcome to the Chiefs, buddy. Last night, actually this morning at 3 a.m. is when the trade went into effect, and been seeing some comments where basically people are saying that the Chiefs kind of cheated and got waiver priority because they did it at 3 a.m. So for fantasy football fans out there, you know what we're talking about. I love this one, though, Soul. DeAndre Hopkins got the best night of sleep ever. Went to bed 1-5, woke up 6-0. Absolutely incredible for that guy. And really incredible for us. So the Chiefs, much like many other teams, are riddled with injuries. Star sophomore running back Pacheco starts off, on a hot streak, and then pretty much snaps his leg and is out. Then Rashee Rice, our sophomore star, wide receiver. I'm gonna get sick, guys. I get motion sickness there. Rasheed Rice going down as well. Then we got Juju Smith-Schuster. Now he's having a hamstring issue. We just can't win. Oh, yeah, before the season even started, on his first play in the preseason, Hollywood Brown out. So through adversity, the Chiefs have been able to win. So getting DeAndre is a huge bonus for us, especially at the low price of a 5th-round pick.
Oh, 5th. I had 4th. I had 4th. So
it's a 5th. It's conditional, though.
Oh, okay,
Conditionally, it's a 4th, depending on if I believe they make the Super Bowl or maybe the championship. But then also the biggest thing is if DeAndre plays 60% of snaps or something of that nature. So as long as he doesn't get injured, even though he's coming to us with a little bit of his own, I think, ankle or hamstring injury that he's been nursing. But no, it's good. It's much needed. And, I mean, for anybody that's really paying attention to the league, we didn't get Devontae Adams. We didn't get Amari Cooper. So they went to the Jets and to the Bills respectively. And so everybody's scrambling around trying to get wide receivers right now. Hey, Dolphins, I mean, if you guys want to, Tyreek Hill, you want to come back? You want a ring?
No.
Since you're not going to get it there?
You're not allowed to have him back. But I was going to make the joke with Devontae Adams. Probably feeling better than Devontae Adams losing to the Steelers twice this year. Two different teams.
In like 1 week. In 7
No,
days.
literally, he lost to him. And like people are the meme is people are like, so I'm hearing rumors that Devontae Adams is going to the Giants so he can lose the Steelers 3 times in a row.
3 times in 14 days.
And also the best dad joke about Juju getting hurt is Juju got a boo-boo. And I was like, oh, damn it. That's I can't escape that one. But Tvshka, let me hold on, come back.
Okay, fine.
I do have to ask this because definitely this is looking a lot better for the rest of the season. Because if those that don't know, DeAndre Hopkins, yes, he's up in age, but he's DeAndre Hopkins.
Dude.
Yeah, he's a stud. Is the Ravens your all's biggest rival at this point? Year to year, it seems. Now, granted, rivals, you have to beat them for once. And Lamar did beat you all. The Ravens did beat you on the regular season, and you got them in still. But the way it's going and the way the media is portraying it, is that your all's biggest only hurdle that you see?
No. It's the thing we've been trying to overcome this entire fucking season, dude. It's injuries.
Okay.
Like, there is no competition to the Chiefs other than ourselves. Like, that's pretty much all it is right now. I mean, we'll see them in the AFC Championship. We'll see you, Lamar. Have a great season, get an MVP, but lose to us again in the playoffs. It's fine. We're cool with rewriting this storybook. But no, yeah, we're just go 6-0. Hell, let's just go for an even 17-0. Let's not just write history and be the first to win 3 in a row. Let's fucking rewrite. Let's actually just change the freaking publishing date and scribble in Kansas City as the location, and 2024 is the fucking year. Because let's go undefeated and let's get that 3-peat. Let's just blow.
You guys
up
aren't allowed to
fucking
go
history.
undefeated. That's supposed to be only for the Dolphins.
Right. I know. I'm sorry. That's the only thing you guys have been holding on to for 30 years. But.
Since 1972.
50.
Yeah, the other thing is with the Chiefs. Yeah, the only thing that's stopping them is themselves, and the fact that here's how good the Chiefs are is Lamar sometimes has, as far as the Ravens, who people have been, I don't know who has talked about Lamar and the Ravens so much, but a lot of people are really liking where the Ravens are. They're saying that they're. No, I'm just telling you what I'm hearing.
I think it's
the Ravens.
Allen Poe. He talked about Ravens a lot.
Yeah, he was also really depressed, which is where I feel like being a Cowboys fan. But the thing is that the Ravens people are saying have the best team in football, which I'm like, their defense is ranked 26. Defense wins championships, as far as I know. You know how I know defense wins championships? There's one team that is undefeated. That is the Kansas City Chiefs. And you know why I know defense wins championships? Because Patrick Mahomes, the great Patrick Mahomes, and there's nothing taken away from his greatness, has more interceptions this year than touchdown passes.
Let's go.
And who is undefeated and just got a freaking weapon?
Yeah. I hope he has the worst fucking season. Just so we can just basically say, like, dude, we fucking won the Super Bowl and we sucked. Like, come on, dude.
Like, all you have to do
fucking
is
level up, bitches. Come on, where's everybody at? Where's the competition?
They're just holding teams under 20 points, and then they win.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I told you, game 2, I was like, this is what it's gonna be the whole season, man. And don't be surprised if they go undefeated that way, and it'd be the most annoying way to win fucking games, because as a fan, I hate it. Like, the games are always close. We're always a touchdown away from losing. We pull it out, which is great, but I just miss the days of like the 40 to 50 point scoring, and then also as a fantasy team owner, it's annoying as shit because you really don't even want to have anybody from the Chiefs on your team because they suck fantasy wise.
You heard it first, but from Tvshka, Chiefs pullout game is strong. So. But moving,
baby.
And like I said before, I don't hate the Chiefs, and I don't mind if they win another Super Bowl. They just have to lose at least one game this year. Just one.
Just one, right?
That's up the Cowboys winning the damn game. But Tua's coming back for the Dolphins.
Back from IR.
He went to multiple doctors, and they said, you're good, at least according to everyone that we're hearing. And then Tyreek came out today when you were talking about Tyreek Hill and why can't he come over to the Chiefs, back to the Chiefs, I would say, come back home. He was interviewed today, and they were asked about Tua, and it was kind of, if you go back and watch our episode, and I even said my bold prediction, the Dolphins are back because Tua's back. And I wasn't exactly word for word, bar for bar what I said, but it was pretty much Tyreek was like, get ready, we're back. He even said, like, all you fantasy owners, start me. Like so Tyreek was saying what I was saying on Monday. I'm just throwing it out there. Just saying, I might know ball.
We just have to see it in a game. We just have to see it in a game.
Yeah, we have to see it in the games. Come on, Devon H.
It's one thing to say it on the mic.
Oh yeah. Well, Tyreek is a walking soundbite. Moving on,
and he's always had his ear or his finger on the fantasy pulse because I think he did kind of the same thing when he was with the Chiefs. Like, he had a couple of like bad production games, and he was like, "I'm sorry, fantasy owners. I swear, put me in. We're gonna do good this week." And sure enough, I think it went off for like 20 points.
Meanwhile, Lamar this year was like, "I don't give a shit about you fantasy owners or your sports bettors or anything like that. I'm just trying to win." And he's like balling out as far as fantasy numbers are concerned. But whatever. So let's move on to
another story from Monday.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the guys that don't get paid as much as the NFL at this point, which is college football. Georgia welcomed Texas to the SEC, defeating them 30-15. Now, the story wasn't the beatdown that Georgia did that basically made their offensive line into mush. It was the precedent that the referees did and what the fans did for the University of Texas. So for those who didn't watch the game, there was an interception that was made by Texas. The game was still kind of out of hand at that point, but the momentum kind of shifted. So there was a Texas intercepted the ball, ran it, whatever. The referees called pass interference on the defense. If you watch the play, that was the most softest pass interference I've ever seen in my life. It should have been more on the offensive player than the defensive player. Well, fans didn't take quite sound. They didn't like that. Well, the student section starts throwing water bottles on the field, which stopped play for them doing everything. Literally, the University of Texas coach, Steve Sarkisian, walked across the sidelines to the student section, which is in a corner, is basically saying, stop doing this. Then, once they finally got everything settled, the referees came out and said, actually, it's a pass interference on the offense, therefore we're going to keep the play where it stands. That's never happened before. I don't care if it was a bad call and they corrected it. You're letting people know, hey, if you disagree with a call, throw shit on the field. Disrupt the game. Make a fool of yourself. To give the referees time to be like, oh, yeah, we screwed up. Okay, never mind, guys. I'm sorry. My bad. No, if you pick up because most of the time when a flag is called, they get together, they talk about it, and then they call the penalty. That all was done. The ball was set. Fans start throwing shit. That's a bad precedent you're setting for the rest of college football or any place, that you can literally protest by disrupting the game and then you can change that. It's never happened in the history of football. With that being said, the SEC did fine Texas $250,000 because that's just toilet paper for them. But then Texas did come out and say, hey, we had the technology. We can literally look at that corner. We can see who's throwing the water bottles, and we would discipline every single one of you. So basically, everyone's trying to save face. Kirby Smart did come out and say, this test sets I don't want to get fined or anything talking about the referees, but this sets he's basically said what I just said. This sets a bad precedence because you endangered my team. And I'm like, well, Kirby, that you kind of talking the left side out of both sides of your mouth because your team also has like 17 DUIs and driving over the speed limit this year. So who's really endangering your players is your players, for number one, but that's a different conversation. But just to kind of, I don't know if you all saw that, or I know So really doesn't keep up a whole lot with college football. I know Tvshka does, but his Oklahoma team is terrible this year. They're also getting their welcome call to the SEC. But this is just immediately when I saw them reverse it, I said, I think they got the call right, but you didn't do it the right way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes total sense. I was waiting for a question. I feel like you asked a question, then you kept going.
I did.
But no, what it is, the only issue I see is that the refs didn't have a penalty for the crowd's interference. That's all. That's all that should have happened, really, in that situation. They didn't really address that because there is fan interference that can cause penalties, and I think it's like 15 yards typically, something like that. So that's what they should have done. So they at least have a little bit of an in-game disciplinary. But yeah, this has happened before, bud. Cleveland, there's a reason why we got plastic cups and bottles now. It's because Cleveland threw glass bottles at the fucking refs.
Yep.
That did end the game. And everybody had to basically just tuck their tail and run into the back into the locker room. There's quite a bit of blood, a lot of contusions and swelling. But yeah, no, I mean it's disgusting behavior. It's Texas. We expect this from them. They're fucking trash people. You guys suck. I love Austin, but the rest of y'all suck. All right, I'm just saying you guys suck. And it was a beautiful thing because we got a Texas fan that works at the casino with us, and he talked shit all last week, and then as soon as he comes in, he's wiping a window and just. I was like, oh, what's up, bud? You're not gonna say anything today? Hey, how you doing? Bud? So, yeah. I mean, hopefully give them a lifetime ban. As far as for those that did throw the water bottles, because that's something that you don't want to just give a slap on the wrist.
Nope.
You want to make an example of it and nip it in the butt as early as you can. And I would pass on that fine to them because the university is not the one that really did anything. They didn't have a sign or anything to promote them throwing shit. But yeah, that's the two things I see is coming down harshly on them, and then the referees should have at least had some kind of interference penalty for them. That would have just been 50 yards or something. Just so that they know that, hey, you are influencing the game and you're influencing it negatively. So you're going to hurt your team. So that 40, 50-yard play that just happened, boom, we're going to take that back. Still a catch. It's offensive pass interference. Call the call the right way that happened on the field, regardless of how you pause the game. But then also penalize the audience or the fans for taking such action. So, and suck it, Texas.
It's like you're an Oklahoma fan or something.
Oh, well, no, not at all. Just
so your thoughts on this? I don't know if you got.
My mom would probably say "suck it, Texas" too, as a Texas A&M graduate. So she's an Aggie.
Yeah. On Oklahoma, they did fire their offensive coordinator, which really should have been done. It's funny. I got a buddy that actually used to play for Oklahoma, and he's been blowing up his LinkedIn account with his hatred for the offensive coordinator.
He went deep because he went to LinkedIn.
He went to LinkedIn Park, man. I guess it was just crawling in his skin. But anyways, yeah, you love it, babe. But no, they did hire a new one. We'll see how it happens. But basically, I just texted my family after the game last week, and I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to watch any second half of the Oklahoma games this year. Because by the time it's halftime, it's out of hand, and I am pissed off and already broke my remotes. So that's why I'm changing my channel.
Yeah, because you can get hyped up for an Oklahoma game this year, but in the end, it doesn't really matter.
Hey, don't go chasing waterfalls.
Come on, we were on the Lincoln Park thing. Okay. Anyway, shout out to TLC, though.
It's a reference to a reference of a reference.
Yeah. Following up here, Tennessee defeats Alabama 24-17, which the state of Tennessee owns Bama this year. If you didn't know, Vanderbilt beat them and Tennessee beat them. And if you don't know where Vanderbilt's located, get a map, but they're located in Nashville, Tennessee. And if you kept up with our show,
she goes there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Indiana's a football school. Like this is an actual
This year.
College game day is there. They just defeated Nebraska 56-7. Undefeated for the year. They're flirting with the college football playoff. Now, this happens a lot in the Big Ten, where this one of the teams that are mid-tier or bad, which is what Indiana was. They have their new coach who is flirting with Coach of the Year next to probably Dion at this point, because what he's doing in Colorado is definitely he's doing very well in the later part of the season. But Heupel came in with like no one thought Indiana would do this, so that's with that Stagnetti, and Stagnetti's as far as the Indiana coach, he came from James Madison. He has one of the best sound bites where people are like, "So what do you think about this?" And he was like, "I win. Google it." Like that's literally what his comment was on that. Illinois defeated Michigan 21-7. They did their old school leather helmet uniforms, and at first when I saw it, I thought these are going to be ugly. Then when it happened, and so I was going to put up those helmets look badass. And it was such a visual, like if you're watching the game live, your eyes adjust. It was like, I know they look leather, but the way they're printed looks really cool. So shout out to Illinois, not only beating Michigan, which is always a fun time, but they also, those helmets are awesome. I love the look of this old school. Like they really, like a lot of times in NFL, like they do like the old school uniforms. And I'm like, these are ugly as shit. These look pretty cool.
No, those are dope as hell.
Yeah.
I really like kind of how it's even broken up on the midsection there.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's goated right there. Right?
Yeah. That's just so cool. Like when you first heard about it, you're like, it doesn't look like. And then when I saw it, because my parents were in town and my dad and I were watching, I'm like, is it me or those are really cool? He goes, these are really cool. I was like, yeah. All right. So on that.
Approved by Josh's dad.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. And then the armed forces are doing great, except for Air Force, because Navy and Army are both undefeated through 8 weeks, and they're both ranked. So that Army-Navy game is looking very well, especially with Army is leading the NCAA Division I teams in rushing yards. So shout out to our armed forces, not named Air Force, as far as in the football.
Suck it, Marines.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm Army, by the way, people.
Okay.
I support our troops that are real troops. The Marines are fake troops.
I didn't say anything.
Tushka's words are Tushka's words.
Yep, Tushka's words, not mine.
Hey, Marines, if you're that good, why are you still called the Navy? Why aren't you in your own division, huh? Why are you still the stepdaughter? Tell me about that, huh?
Leave your comments below, but just point them towards Tushka. Nothing against the rest of us.
Fucking throw
thank
your
you
trash
all for
comments
all
in
that
there,
you
please.
do, all that you have done, and all that you are.
I was just going to shout out Jason too, because Jason was in the Navy.
Gotcha.
One of our Discord followers. Join us on Discord down below. We have a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got canceled, I guess.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, I did it on purpose this time. Suck it.
Yeah, but let's move on to another ball that's more round. It's basketball. Because guess what? The NBA tipped off yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got, and when one door closes in the WNBA, which we'll get to later, another one opens, which is the NBA season. The 2024-25 season kicked off with a Knicks Celtics game at the Garden, with Boston winning 132-109. Jason Tatum had 37 points, 10 assists, double-double. He's still winning in Finals MVP. Sorry, you're not going to get it. Derek White dropped 24 points. Jaylen Brown dropped 23. Right after the game, the Timberwolves beat the Lakers 110-103, where Bronny played 3 minutes in the game, making it the first time a father and son has played in the NBA together. Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr. were there for this historic moment. We have a slide for that, which is really cool. And the reason we're bringing Griffey Jr. and Sr. because they both play on the same team in the major leagues, which one time where Griffey stole a catch from his dad and his dad grounded him. I'm not even joking. Yep. That's exactly what happened. But this is a pretty cool picture. And let's just show this sweet moment on here.
One thing, though, to say about Griffey Jr. there is a few years ago, he was asked about the possibility of Bronny playing with LeBron. And he goes, well, if that ever happens, I'm taking my dad to that game. So he was able to make that happen. So shout out to the Griffeys.
Nice. But here is the moment where both father and son checked in.
Well, this is not them checking in. This is them talking to each other.
You see the intensity, right? Just play carefree, though. What about mistakes? Just go out and play hard.
My bad. On that.
Yeah, it was just there. It was like, you see the intensity? He's like, yeah, Dad. And it was just like giving him a good advice. Yeah. I thought it was cute. Is Bronny Jr. is he good enough to play in the NBA? Probably not. But I found the entire thing to be extremely cute, which I think is the correct adjective to use for what's going on. I know Josh has some more thoughts about it.
So I don't want to come off as a here's the thing. Okay. Is this a really cool moment? Yes. We'll probably still talk about it. But it's like one of those things was like, that was a really cool moment in a movie, but it was forced as hell. But I still enjoyed it when it happened. For example, like the first Ghostbusters Afterlife, where all of the old school Ghostbusters came back and they just showed up for a cameo. It's like, that was really cool. And I loved it. And then the dust settled was like, that was forced. Like, it wasn't, the story didn't earn it, but they just made it happen. Some people even go back to Avengers Endgame, where all the female characters just magically appeared on the same part of the battlefield. It was a really cool moment, but it was forced as hell, which kind of took away from it. It's the same thing here. Bronny is not good enough to be in the NBA. He still should be in college. Some argue he's not even a division, like a Power 4 or Power 5 Division I basketball player. He's not even good enough. He averaged 4 points at USC and didn't even start unless his dad was there. Then they started him. So, and it's nothing against Bronny. The tragedy of all this is Bronny's just there. It has nothing to do with him and everything to do with, is this kind of an LeBron just making sure that his son got there just so he can be like, we're the first father and son to do this, which is cool. And it's nothing against LeBron's being like, he's an awesome father and all that. I just felt like this was not earned. It was cool, but it was not earned. And it just, there's players that are way better than Bronny that are playing overseas. It's kind of a nepotism thing. So again, people will get on me for saying that, but it was cool. Like you said, it was cute, but it wasn't earned.
Yeah, well, white people in the financial institutions can have nepotism, and black people can have nepotism in sports. I mean, equal opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, here's the thing. Yes, his dad owns the company, and he's able to get the job, but it's up to him to keep the job.
Yeah, and I hope Bronny is awesome.
Is he good enough to be in the NBA? He's in the NBA, so yes. He's far better than I ever would be. He's far better than you would ever would be. That's a good sentence there. But just let him prove it. I mean, is it for a cute moment? We on the outside, yeah. But for LeBron, who has earned this, because he has the keys to the fucking kingdom. Hopefully he didn't go to too many Diddy parties. But he's got the keys to the kingdom. And and it's his choice. Like, I support it. I like it. But at the same time, I'm also kind of waiting for the car crash to where it's like, we saw this coming. But give the kid a chance because his dad is definitely one of the 3 GOATs in basketball, and the only one that I can recall that ESPN broadcasted their high school games. Like whenever I was in high school, I was watching LeBron on ESPN, right? Yeah. So that's how great of a player he is, and how much clout. I mean, he had out the freaking womb. It's also testament to how he was a grown ass adult balding in high school. So maybe we should have actually checked his birth certificate.
I mean, Bronny has way more hair than him. That's one thing that Bronny has over LeBron right now.
But Bronny, you better thank your mom's dad for those genes. All right, bud. You better thank him. But yeah, I mean, is it nepotism? Yes, but come on, man. You Whites have had plenty of nepotism, and for better or worse, for the nation. In a lot of different areas, and I'm just glad to see minorities get it, and I'm looking forward to having some Native American nepotism here soon too.
So
I just thought it was, as I said before, I thought it was cute. I think it's also a really good story, him coming back from the heart attack and he's still playing and is still alive. I can agree with Tvshka in the sense of, like, let's see what he does this year. Because do I think he got in because of nepotism? Yeah. But what if he turns out to be good? Then who really cares? If he turns out not to be good, then it'll be like, okay, whatever. On to the next. So I just found it cute.
No, and again, I'm just calling what I'm seeing and for what led to this, not for I think he's going to be terrible. I'm with you all. I hope Bronny is great. And that's why I said I feel bad for Bronny, because people are scrutinizing him, and all he was the first son of LeBron James, who happens to be checking in at the same time. And like I said, it was cute. And I still kind of smile, and I smiled when I saw it happen. But I'm like, I saw him play before. He's not that good. He's just not. He's not an NBA player at this point. That being said, a lot of players get drafted based off potential.
Yeah.
Who weren't that great. Now that being said, they get drafted off potential because they're 6'7" and athletic, and not maybe 6'1" because they mismeasured him. But still, I hope it works out. It just doesn't look that way, and it seems forced. But I want to be proven wrong, guys. Prove me wrong.
That's like your opinion, man.
Yeah. Like how I went around in circles there. That was great.
That was good.
But yeah,
merry-go-rounds are fun, bro.
Yeah. But anyway, in this game, Anthony Davis got 36 points, 16 rebounds, double-double. Ant dropped 27 points, and Rudy Gobert got 13 points, 14 rebound, double-double. I have another note here about games going on today. Now, I will say this. The league is already investigating Joel Embiid for load management after one game. They are, I don't know. You know how to decrease load management? Make the season shorter. But they're not going to do that because money. So that's what we have there. But notable injuries, speaking about that, Kawhi Leonard is never going to play again. No, I'm just kidding. Is out indefinitely due to inflammation in his right knee. PJ Tucker is also out. Mo Bamba is out. Great song, though. Kristaps Porzingis, he'll never be healthy the rest of his career. But he got a ring. So that's all that matters. Had surgery in late June on his left leg and is expected to be out for the first couple of months of the season. Like I said it before, Joel Embiid is out for the opener against the Bucks, which the Bucks just destroyed them. I forget exactly what the final score was. Paul George also out, but that's legit injury. If anyone saw the hyperextended knee, he kind of looked sassy in one of the. He was. I'm not going to duplicate that. But just look at the picture. He looked sassy when it happened. It was just weird. It's a weird looking picture. Josh Richardson with the Miami Heat is out due to left heel inflammation. A lot of inflammation's going on, and then Zion Williamson is out due to illness. Yeah, he was good once. He's oh my god, he's an athletic freak if he can ever stay healthy and get his weight under control.
Yeah.
With that, but that's what I got for the NBA as I dance around in circles, and people are probably going to cancel me because I said Bronny's not ready for the NBA.
Oh, yeah. Who was the first person you mentioned that got injured?
Kawhi.
That guy. That's such a good laugh, dude. Top 10 laugh.
He's injured a lot for being a robot.
But are you ready for WNBA?
Yeah, let me know how I know ball.
So this one knows ball because Liberty won. Congratulations to New York. Because we went live right after Game 3 last week, we didn't get to see the full Sabrina Ionescu game-winning 3. So let's watch that now.
Quarter of Game 3. 4 seconds. Ionescu will heave and hit! And hit! Sabrina Ionescu with the biggest shot in Liberty.
Ice in her veins.
Mm-hmm.
And WNBA's first team and second teams were announced right after Game 3, and people rightfully thought that Sabrina Ionescu was snubbed for first team. She was placed on the second team. And this question and answer right after that game had me cracking up.
About not being named first team all WNBA because you sure played in the last minute like you were trying to prove a point.
That was just a great all WNBA second team performance. That's it.
Some other things to mention about Game 3. The attendance at Target Center was 19,521, marking the largest attendance in Lynx franchise history. Breonna Stewart ties Maya Moore for the most WNBA final games with at least 20 points. Stewie also now ranks 4th all-time in career WNBA finals points, passing Lindsay Whalen, former Minnesota Lynx player. She also has the second most 30-point games in WNBA playoff history, passing Angel McCoughtry, and Nafisa Collier passes Diana Taurasi for the most points in a single postseason. DT still holds the record for all-time postseason points. So I'm going to throw it to you guys. Thoughts on Game 3?
New York sucks.
I'll be honest. Every time I'm like you, Soul. Like every time you turn it on, they sucked. So I just turned it off and kept up with the score because it would just be like that. But after the second game or the third game, I'm like, this is going to go the distance. This is just going to go the distance. It's just who's going to blink first, type of game. Which obviously we know the outcome. Spoiler alert. I still know ball, but I knew the Lynx were. It was after Game 3. I'm like, I don't know who's going to win at this point. I don't.
Right.
Do you know ball only because you know how to describe a ball? Because that's what you've been doing every transition. We're going from a small circle with a circle ball with hexagons to a lemon shape. Going to lemon shape ball. Like that's not knowing ball. I mean,
I mean,
technically,
by
kind of.
definition, yes.
Yeah, you're knowing about balls. Yeah.
Still knows ball.
Yep. You look like you know balls.
Too many balls?
This is not that type of show.
But on to game 4.
Comfortable in my masculinity.
Lynx forced a game 5 by beating the Liberty 82-80 in game 4. Unlike the last 3 games, neither team was able to get a huge lead in the first quarter, and they kept things pretty even the whole game. This is a breakdown quarter by quarter, just so you can see how even this game was. Mm-hmm. Both teams scored 33 points in the first. Minnesota scored 23, New York 22 in the second. Both teams scored 18 in the third. Minnesota scored 18, New York 17 in the fourth. This was not Stewie's night, which is weird to say because she did get an 11-point, 11 rebound double-double, but missed so many shots. And Minnesota played really good defense against her. She was 5 for 21 in field goals with a 23.8 field goal percentage, which is awful. If it wasn't for her, the Liberty wouldn't have won game 3. So everyone, including us, is talking about Sabrina's 3-point game winner, but they wouldn't have been in that position without Stewie. So, Stewie, great player, had an off night. Kind of also had an off night in game 5 as well, but we'll get into it. Whose night it was for the Liberty was Jonquel Jones, which I kind of repeated in game 5 as well. She played a great and had a 70% field goal percentage with 21 points on the board. For Minnesota, Kayla McBride is a bucket. Courtney Williams got that dog in her. Her and her father, so much fun this entire series. And Tvshka Collier is showing why she won Defensive Player of the Year. They played great as a team and were able to stop New York superstar veteran from being a scoring threat. They also had some big-time shots from Alana Smith and Bridget Carlton. Minnesota did bust out the electric slide after this win, and Gina Fernaro from Barstool was upset that Minnesota created a choreographed dance to celebrate their win against New York. My white people, do y'all not know what the electric slide is? Josh, you're white. Do you know what the electric slide is? And is it normal for white people not to know what the electric slide is?
I mean, I've been to a wedding, multiple weddings. Like, if you don't do are we a part of this society where we don't bust out the electric slide at a wedding, especially us white people?
I wish we were.
I mean,
it's a dumb dance.
Yeah, but it gets everyone
It's a dance
involved.
for people that can't dance. That's
exactly. That's why white people do it at weddings. Because it's so simple to do. It's like,
but
yeah,
it's not just white people. Like, electric slide gets busted out at the cookout, at any range, whatever ethnicity, race you are, you're doing the electric slide.
What's a cookout? Everybody has cookouts. What are you saying there? What are you saying? Only one race has cookouts? That's racist.
I guess I'm racist.
Yeah, black people, you don't own cookouts, all right? We get it. You
I'm
cook some great food.
It based on my Bronny
It's
James
better than fucking.
comment,
It's
so
better
I'm
than potlucks.
I'm not going to comment on that one.
I'm just gonna say that these two thoughts, whatever they say on screen, they're not my thoughts.
Oh, you call me a thought? Oh,
you are one.
Thank you so much, girl.
Well done on that one.
What's up?
Before
Love you, black people. You're good. Sorry,
but yeah,
like
how do you not know the electric slide is? Like, I don't. Maybe yeah. I can't understand Gen Z or whatever. How do you not know the electric slide is?
I don't know. Before going to game 5, I wanted to show some cuteness. Here's Sabrina Nescu and her husband with Tvshka Collier's daughter after game 4. She doesn't know what team Sabrina plays for. And one thing that was pointed out about Sabrina is this was posted online. That's Tvshka Collier's husband there saying, ever since the Olympics, she's always asking where Sab is. And apparently, like all of the kids, any of the players on the Olympic team any of their children. They just like saw her as Auntie Sab, Auntie Sabrina. Like they loved her the most. They wanted to be around her. So Sabrina herself doesn't have any kids, but she an auntie.
Not a bad one to have.
Not a bad one to have. Look at how cute they are.
Mm-hmm.
But Josh, thoughts on Game 4?
It's just Stewie being off, which I'm also I will give props to the Lynx of having a great defensive strategy to go against her, to make her frustrated, to make her off her game. Because it wasn't like Stewie just came out there and was like, I'm gonna, everyone has an off game, but like, I mean, game one, Caitlin Clark, she had multiple open threes and she just couldn't hit them. That happens. Mm-hmm. This was still a good defensive strategy to where not only were Lynx not really letting Stewie get started, but that just builds and snowballs, or as they call it, snowballs. We'll just do snowballs. Quicksand is what they call it. It's like it just feels like one mistake leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. And you just can't build out of it. Next thing you know, you're under. You've been encapsulated. You're buried.
Yeah. And we'll get into reffing in this next game.
The fifth game.
But like the reffing has been terrible this entire series.
Female sports in general, reffing is terrible.
And like, credit to Minnesota for keeping Stewie from scoring, but there was multiple times in this game that I'm like, ooh, like New York could have shut this down and won if it wasn't for some bad calls. And then the reverse happens in Game 5. So we'll get to that here. So in the end, it kind of becomes even, but New York Liberty, they win their first ever championship on their 6th trip to the final. They've been to the finals 6 times. They're one of the original franchises. So the first time in 28 years that they've won. Every other original franchise that's still alive right now, which I think is the Phoenix Mercury and the LA, are the only other 2 that are still the original from that original year, and they've won. So they're the last to win here. And they win in overtime, 67-62. Main thing people are pointing out about this game is, was that a foul on Stewie or not? At the end of the game to tie up and send it to overtime. Let's pause for a second, guys. People are talking about reffing and about basketball in women's sports. We made it.
Yeah.
We fucking made it,
well,
guys.
I mean, I talked about reffing in women's sports when they screwed us out of getting to the University of Louisville women's getting to a final against Mississippi State. Mississippi State ended up going and losing to Notre Dame, who we beat by 32 times in a row that season. Losing to them in a last-second shot, but I'm still here to
Josh isn't salty at all.
No.
Not at all. But officiating this series, as we said, has not been great, and there are calls that have gone against both teams this whole series that were, in my eyes, bad calls. That's part of sports, though. If it wasn't for some bad calls, maybe the Liberty win Game 4. If it wasn't for some bad calls, maybe the Lynx win Game 3. Maybe Liberty win Game 1. We'll never know because we can't go back in time. There were plenty of opportunities for both teams to win the games that they lost in this series, despite the refs. And the biggest reason is not making shots and too many turnovers. And that's typically how it goes. You're going to lose if you're turning over the ball and you're missing your shots. You're not going to win the basketball game. It's just not going to happen. Kind of also don't like it when coaches blame the refs and make that the reasoning why they lost. Didn't like it when Cheryl Reeves did it in Game 3. Didn't like it when Sandy Brondello did it in Game 4. Don't like it now when Cheryl Reeves doing it in Game 5. But it's their prerogative. And also, like, I guess I can play a little devil's advocate. They really care about their team. And these are 2 like amazing coaches who have won championships before as coaches, and they're going to fight for their team. So I guess I can shout them out on that end, but also at the same time, like, there's plenty of other reasons why you guys lost the games that you lost. And Sabrina herself, was asked about it, I think like a day or two after the game. So she has her thoughts on the officiating.
Oh, my bad.
More champions. I think that's part of a playoffs. If you've watched any series, officiating never goes the way that you want it. We could have said the same thing about game 4. And that's kind of part of winning. Like, a lot of things have to go right. We're thankful for the opportunity to call ourselves champions, and no one's going to remember what call was made when. All we know is we're in the history books forever. I mean, we're
Josh, you have thoughts about this.
I mean, look at the stat sheet. I mean, we talked about this prior to the show. I mean, look at the free throw discrepancy between the Liberty and the Lynx. Liberty shot 25 free throws. I think the Lynx shot 7. Like, something's off there. There shouldn't be, especially the way, like, if you watch the game, it's like, nope, they were. If you watch in the game before, it's like, they let stuff go for Liberty. No, you can't. It's hard to get there. You're always going to complain about the refs, but it's a best of series.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like one game, ref screwed it up, there you go. I mean, if you were good enough, you would have beat them before you got to game 5. So there's an argument there. So it's not just the ref's fault. Now, this game, yeah, especially the Lynx coach is going to get fined a gajillion dollars because she just went off on the ref.
Yeah, Cheryl Reeves went
off. That being said, my counter argument to her: why didn't you close it out the first when you could?
And there were still 5 minutes of overtime too, and they in overtime. We're gonna get to the game in a second, but this is the main thing that's been coming out is about the refs and about is being stolen. Throw it over to Tvshka. Your thoughts, because I don't know if you watched the game or not, but I know that you have thoughts about refs.
Well, so I've done my research and I've looked at it, and the electric slide was made by a white dude. Okay. The video in the song was Electric Boogie, who was a black lady named Marcia Griffiths. But it was a white dude that did the choreography. It's lame as shit, guys. It's a fucking square dance. It's it's the Chattahoochee. It's dumb, okay? But no, y'all enjoy it. I don't want to hate on your party, but don't come at me saying that we need to know about a trash dance. That's all I have. I'll cancel myself.
It's not. You just need to know it. Like, I just don't know how you don't know it.
Yeah,
never been to a wedding.
Like, everybody knows what it is.
Yeah,
saying,
knows what it is.
Saying, this team created a choreographed dance to make fun of the other team.
Oh yeah, right. I love it. I'm here for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, I would be here for that. Like, if the Minnesota Timberwolves want to create
troll dance,
a troll dance, I'm sure Ant would be down for it. I've been watching Starty 5. Ant, his personality, I'm sure he'd be down to do some troll dance.
This is still like a top 5 thing in Utah.
But
for the Mormons ball.
Going to the game itself, these two teams have been a joy to watch, and this is the best finals of my lifetime, which I'm older than the WNBA, so basically the entire miss of the WNBA, although I probably don't remember the first few seasons, being pretty young there. But New York got the revenge from losing last year, and Minnesota, they're going to be scary next year. Like, if they go on a revenge tour next year, it's going to be scary. It's going to be real scary. This game was a low-scoring affair with overtime helping the score out a little bit. Like, halftime, I think it was like 30-something to 20-something. Like, that's more of a first quarter type of score, not a we've played 2 quarters of basketball. That very low-scoring affair. Minnesota were on the front foot in the first half, specifically first quarter, and their biggest lead was by 12, but New York were able to cut it to a 7-point lead by halftime. Also, big credit to Minnesota for keeping both Stewie and Ionescu scoreless in the first quarter. New York couldn't shoot a 3 to save their freaking lives. And the first 3 that they made was in the fourth. Sabrina Ionescu, which was her first field goal of the game. She only had 5 points this game, 2 of them free throws. The other was a 3-pointer. She was 1 from 19 from 3. She did not shoot. She facilitated the ball, made a lot of great assists, all that, but 5 points. 5 points. So kind of not her night, but then she was able to do other stuff that helped the team out. But yeah, it was weird to see the 2 big players on New York not have a good night. Stewie wasn't shooting great, missing a lot of buckets, but she played good defense, and she got a lot of rebounds and a few blocks in, a few steals. 13. She still had a 13.50 rebound double-double, which is she's getting double-doubles on her bad nights. So just think of her on her good nights. As I said, Liberty won this in overtime, and this was the first time a winner-take-all game in the finals has gone to overtime. So let's watch the moment that they won.
Mm-hmm. But I will say this about Stewie, and you were saying she played good defense even though she had an off night. And this is kind of a basketball thing. I don't care how bad you are on offense, you can still play defense. There's no excuse for it. Just because you're having an off night offensively should not make you play bad defense when you know you can. Right. So shout out to Stewie for keeping her, because that's a mental strength.
Yeah.
That I will give Stewie for that, because Jordan has off nights. Sabrina had an off night. You can still play defense. So
yeah, but Jordan's off nights is whenever he's playing poker or he's at the casino.
Right. Or he's got food poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
Carlton lobs it in, taken away by Phoebus. Off to Stewart. 28 years in the making.
And she said she took it to the halfway point because she didn't want to get an 8-second violation.
Yep.
The original franchise has Carlton.
Boo.
All right. I will say this. I saw somebody give shit on the Twitter X or whatever you want to call it to Sabrina and being like, why are you so emotional? You only scored 5 points. I'm like, she just won a championship, you douchebag.
And she had her Final Fours canceled in her senior year, which she would have still had to go through South Carolina, but she felt like a championship that she could have had the chance to win didn't happen her senior year, and so this is her first ever championship.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, Sol, because she was bad at Oregon. Those Oregon teams, especially her senior year, and she could, again, this is WNBA stuff, but and we'll get into the bargaining agreement and stuff later as far as pay, but she came back. She could have left and went to WNBA and overseas and all other stuff to get paid. And she came back for that run. Unfortunately, COVID stopped it. So we never got to see exactly the height of heights of Sabrina at the height of her powers as far as a collegiate player was. But it all comes back because your greatness is always going to push through someone trying to hold you back. I was trying to think of another better word, but my brain stopped.
We can give you more time. You want some more time?
No. I'm just gonna end up talking in circles about Bronny James.
Yeah. To the haters out there talking about someone crying about winning a championship, clearly you've never won shit in your life, dude. I cry whenever I win beer pong. Okay, that's because I'm invested, man. I'm passionate. I have a.
That's why we love you.
You don't know my belly. Yeah, and it's like, dude, come on. Like, whether it's your first championship or your 10th, if you're not getting emotional, right, and you're not like, either, kind of tearing up, welling up, or just, supercharged and electric, then quit because you're in it for the wrong reason. Because you're clearly not passionate about it. It's just like if you don't get nervous when you go on stage, as a comedian or, musician, then hang it up because it means you don't care anymore. And so for you bottom-feeding lint lickers in the comments, suck it, Jason.
Yeah. Who you calling lint licker, you cootie queen?
Yeah.
After that commercial. Justin here. Yes, he will say go Yankees. Yeah. And I picked you to win
sucks, but congrats.
I picked you to win it. It hurts me to say it, but I think the Yankees are the team.
I picked the Dodgers to win, but it is going to be a fun series. It will be and he also says congrats to the New York Liberty. Good
season for New York for sure.
Good season for not in football, but
fall season
yeah. There are 3 players I want to speak about on the Liberty side. That is the reason, in my opinion, that they won because, as we said, Stewie and Sabrina not really scoring here. First is Jonquel Jones. She deservedly won Finals MVP. She's made big-time buckets this whole series, and she kept them alive when Stewie and Sabrina weren't making shots. The game plan pretty much was get the ball to JJ. She's 6'6". She was towering over everyone. Sandy Brondello basically went with her big lineup in the second half of this game, and that was able to help them out because they were just taller than the other team. But let's watch the tape.
Backing it away, Jones. New York likes this switch onto Collier for Jones. Jones lays it in as Collier tried to pull the chair. Stewart working Smith. Draws 2. Jones looking for some help. Jones going to take it to Williams, and why not? When Brandon Stewart dumps it down. Jones 5 to shoot. Jones puts it down, gets it back.
And like I said, they did not score any threes, really. So this was all in the paint from Jonquel Jones.
Beast, and on this possession, she's beasting. Just using her strength, goes up. Wow.
Ionescu now saunters to the scorer's table. Stewart dumps it down. Jones the catch and the finish.
And then the next player is Niara Sabali. She's a bench player who hasn't gotten a lot of minutes these finals, but her number was called because Sandy Brondello was like, we're going to go with a bigger team. And she put in work. She was that spark, and she kept the game alive for the Liberty. And this was one of her crucial plays, so let's watch it.
Williams has been cold here, 2 for 14. Sabali the steal. Sabali the breakaway. And delay.
She had Barkley's hopping with that.
Well, I will say that, though. That was a lazy-ass pass, but still a good play by her. That was a lazy-ass pass.
And then the third person is Leonie Febish. She breaks the record for most points made by a rookie in WNBA Finals history with 61 points. She has played great this series, and she drained this 3 at the start of overtime that really set the tempo for New York in overtime.
Overtime of Game 5 is underway. And you wonder, Febish connects!
That was their second 3 of the game.
The fact that she took it that early in the shot clock, which is like, no. Okay, good shot.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave a link down below. Watch the post-game press conference. You can see both Cheryl Reeves going off, and you can see Stewie drunk as hell. Which that's really more the fun part is the drunk Stewie. But really, what got me emotional in watching this game was seeing former players of the New York Liberty at the game, specifically Teresa Witherspoon, who was in her Liberty jersey from the 90s. That's what she wore to the game. And when she was getting emotional, she was like, you cry, I cry. Teaspoon was part of those teams that made it to the finals and never won, but this is her hyping up the crowd. And we're playing without sound because we don't want to be canceled like Tvshka.
Yep, or echoed.
Right.
And then the next one, Teaspoon was completely speechless. They gave her the shirt, the hat, and they were asking her what it means, and you could just tell on her face. She couldn't speak. She was emotional. We don't have sound here, but we should have sound here.
No, because we muted it, so it's not.
I already know. I already know.
Right going on to you guys. Any final thoughts of Game 5?
Well, there should be 7 games.
It will be next year.
It will be next year. But like I said, yes, you don't like to give the argument about the refs. This is exactly what you would want in a final. Number one, if anytime you have, especially basketball, you're going to have refs being involved. Even in football, ask the Philadelphia Eagles against Kansas City Chiefs when they brought up that ref thing. But guess what? I say the same thing you should have done. It should never come down to refs. You should win the game by yourself. Now, if there's something egregious to where, it came down to where both teams are playing well and just one call switched it, that's a different argument. But in a best of 5 series, if you're bitching about one game the refs called wrong, that's not against the refs in a sense. It's more against you should have just done what you're supposed to do to begin with, which we always say about any sport. Same thing I said about Philadelphia. Philadelphia was up by like 10 or 14 or something like that against the Chiefs.
Like everybody else is in the playoffs, but they can't win.
Yeah. And just at the end of the day, I mean, the Houston Texans way back when, the Chiefs were like, we'll spot you 24 points. Watch us kick your ass. You remember that game. So it's like.
That was great.
It
the cannon shot for the dynasty.
Right. And so it's like it stinks sometimes when you have to bring the refs in, and they do have a decent, at least the Lynx do on that last game. Yes, they have a decent argument, but it's Game 5, not one game go home.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard. That's the reason you have multiple games to figure out who's the winner, just in case a bad refereeing situation happens. If it's Game 5, they went to overtime. You had a shot to win in overtime. You still didn't win in overtime.
Especially, too, if in the series the refs went your way in other games.
Game 4.
Game 4, for example. But, yeah, there's been, like I said in the thing, there's been times that the refs were going against the Liberty and for Minnesota, and there were games where they were going for Minnesota, like they were going against Minnesota for Liberty. So, in a sense, it kind of becomes even because you have these multi-game series where refs are going to favor one or the other, especially, too, if it's like at home or away. You have, just with the crowd and everything, these refs are human beings.
Yeah.
Yep. And, I mean, whenever they go to 7, like I was going to say earlier, it's that we'll get a better idea of what this looks like, too. I mean, instead of it being a 3-game, it'll be 4 as far as, to be able to win that series out. But with the officiating and just any calls that people complain about, then scrub through the whole fucking game. I mean, pick any little microcosm or, whistle that was blown and stack it up. I mean, because it's probably going to be even at the end of the day. Some just happen at the end of the game, which is what everybody remembers. They may not, remember that bad call the first half or, things of that nature. That's where, like, for the NFL, people complain about the Chiefs. Oh, man, they're getting so many, good breaks. And we are. We've been lucky in some things, and they've just came at the right time. But also, we've been highly penalized on our offensive line. Like, we typically have more penalty yards. It's just one of those situations. But
I was by Kadarius Toney.
Yeah. I mean, we got rid of his ass finally. Good Lord. Thanks, New York, for that one. God dang.
He's got 2 rings.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, and he had a good kickoff return. But also the last time he didn't even play the playoffs.
No.
Last ring he got. So, but anyways, no. I mean, people are just going to complain about it. And then once we remove the human element, we go to all robots with, cameras and audio telling us exactly what happened. Then we're going to complain about technology. We're going to complain that the color of the field's too blue. I mean, we're just,
Shot at Boise State football?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. And Blue Mountain State too.
Arkansas State having the red field? Like, are you what's up with you attacking field colors?
I'm racist, man. What can we say? But no, but we're gonna complain about something. That's just human nature.
Yep.
Because when you're trying to rationalize why you lost and that it's not your fault that you lost, you grasp at straws and you pull things out of your ass, which typically, guys, it's shit. It's shit. And that's what those opinions are.
Yeah. I do want. Go ahead.
Sorry, so not to interrupt, because I was looking for the notes. Did you talk about the MVP?
About Jonquel Jones getting MVP?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
And I'm just okay. Before, because I saw the Nafisa Collier stuff, and is that where we're?
Yeah, that's where we're going next. Thanks, Josh.
Well, no, I was just the thing about to say about Jonquel Jones getting the MVP.
Yes.
I do want to touch on that. It was like Andre Iguodala when he played for the Warriors, getting the MVP over Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. Like, it's just like she deserved it and she earned it. Especially Game 5, where they just basically leaned on Jonquel.
The difference, though, is she also is a former MVP winner of the league as well. So it's like she's a little bit better than Andre Iguodala.
I'm just talking about headline-wise. Stewie and Ionescu were taking up all the headlines. And plus, Stewie was played great till game. I think Stewie had it pretty much wrapped up if they won it.
Yeah.
And then Game 4 happened, but Jonquel was consistency throughout the whole series. Plus, also, too, a guy named Steven Schaefer, Barstool, he had the Lynx winning it, and he hedged his bet going into overtime, and he put money on Sabrina, which I could have told him a million years, don't put money on Sabrina winning MVP. And he also put Stewie on winning MVP. He hedged his bet just in case the Lynx lost in overtime that Sabrina or Stewie were going to win MVP. And then it went to – and he was live watching, and he just like, I lost it all. And I'm like, that's right, bitch.
I mean, immediately Game 4, I was just like, oh, if Stewie doesn't have a good Game 5, this is Jonquel Jones's MVP if New York wins.
Yeah.
But I do want to speak a little bit Nafisa Collier for a second and what she has done this postseason. Most points in a single postseason, tied for most points in a playoff game, most steals in a WNBA Finals series, most stocks, steals, and blocks in single postseason. Only player in WNBA playoff history to average 40 points per game in a series. This was against the Phoenix Mercury. Only player in WNBA playoff history to post 3 straight 25.10 rebound performance. There's a reason why she was second in voting for MVP this year behind Asia, and we all need to put some respect on her name. Minnesota and her did not get a lot of coverage this year, but she's a baller. And as I said before, Minnesota is going to be scary next year. And if I were to put in a very, 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 very early prediction, I think Minnesota might win next year.
As long as they keep their team intact. But we've seen some teams who make a deep run, and then they're still the same team next year as far as players, but it just doesn't work. And also, too, like if you look at other sports like NFL, the team that lost in Super Bowl, statistically, they don't even make the playoffs the next year. That being said,
this isn't football.
This isn't football. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This isn't football, number one. And number two,
should be. The
Lynx are taking the steps. So, like the Golden State Warriors, before they hit the dynasty, they were right there. The Kansas City Chiefs, they didn't have a defensive coordinator when they went up against Tom Brady, and Gronk just walked down the field as Tony Romo literally called out the plays. We're going to go to Gronk here. We're going to do that. And then I forget the guy's name, the linebacker that jumped off sides. But then after that, but the Chiefs were making their steps, right? Now it wasn't a Super Bowl loss, but it was in the AFC Championship. But then they got that, so I'm just saying, like, there's two sides to a coin. Either A, they're going to take that next step and become a champion next year, or B, they're going to implode. Fortunately, that's just how, and as far as storyline wise and what we see and trend wise in other sports, could happen.
Yeah, I'm just seeing it like kind of just trend wise of the WNBA, and typically of if you just see it in the previous year of New York losing, getting their shit together, winning the following year. Minnesota is a really, really good team, and they don't get the credit that they deserve. Even though, like, I'm not really a fan of any team because there's no team down here in Miami, so I'm a fan of players. But if they do keep these players together, they know each other really well. That's one more year under their belt that they know each other really well, and that they are able to. Cheryl Reeve said too that not one person on the team has the what did she call it, the disease of me. Mm-hmm. That they all played for each other instead of for themselves. So that can take a team pretty far.
Yeah, and I'm surprised you didn't check me with the Florida Panthers. Literally, they went to the Stanley Cup Finals the year before, then they won it for the first time ever the next year. So surprised you didn't. I'm surprised so that I was the first one to bring that up. I'm just saying. But what you were saying,
I'm trying to be humble, Josh.
Yeah, I'm also. Hey guys, you like to see me self-check myself? There you go. There's that one. But also, but the thing is, I think the Lynx have the best coach. Yes, and I'm a big fan.
She won us a gold medal.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan. As everyone knows, I'm a huge fan of Becky Hammon. I think she should be an NBA coach. That's how much I like Becky Hammon. But what the Lynx coach did with that group, it's still, you have to have talent. I don't care. As John Wood, as my great uncle once said, he goes, I read John Wooden's book, and he says in his book, there's 3 keys to being a successful coach. Number 1 is having the best players. I forget the other 2. So you still have to have the players, but if nothing beats the power of a unit until you run into like a New York Liberty, who are just a better unit than you are.
But this is the end of the WNBA. I know Tvshka's so sad.
Look, you guys want to be better, then pick a better fucking dance, man. Electric Slide sucks, dude. That's why you lost.
They used to jump on it.
Dude, at least get the Cupid Shuffle.
I was getting ready to say that. I'm like, really? The Cupid Shuffle? That's what you're doing? No. Every team, dude, walk it out the right way. Okay?
That's a good one, too. Yeah.
Oh, no Superman in that hoe?
Snoop Dogg?
No, I'm tired of that freaking thing. No.
Yeah. I'd go more, walk it like it's hot. Or drop it like it's hot.
But do you guys have any favorite WNBA moments this year?
Tvshka, I'll let you start.
Dude, I'm all for the racism. It is so fucking hilarious, man. Watching these stupid trolls argue over nothing. I'm surprised that a white girl is one of the best ones in the league. But hey, more power to them. White people can have stuff too, y'all. I know they took everything, but they can keep some things. Like the electric slide. Fuck, keep it. Trash, man.
I wish I wouldn't say I'm piggybacking off of that. It's not the piggybacking off the racism thing. It's just the fact that, for one thing, Asia Wilson is the best player in the NBA, not Caitlin Clark. WNBA, sorry, but she could take some dudes. But she is the best player in the WNBA, not Caitlin Clark. But my favorite part of the season is people realizing that the WNBA is a good good league. And the fact that, yes, Caitlin Clark brought a lot of eyeballs, but then, like I said, the actual good part of it is we're seeing record, as we're getting ready to get into, the best part of the season is the fact that people realize, oh, shit, this is fun to watch. That was the best part of the season, is after, like you said, in the 90s and stuff, since this league has been around for 20 plus years, this is the first time ever that we're like, we finally got introduced to the WNBA. And it wasn't, and
welcome.
Yeah, we had discourse back and forth. Yes, so there were bad discourse, but the thing was they were still talking about it. And that was my favorite part is, obviously like Maya Moore, Holzclaw, Cheryl Swoops, obviously DT being there for 20 years. Oh crap! I'm trying to think of the other
Sue Bird,
Lisa Leslie, Sue Bird. Oh crap! Candace Parker. Like, you've had great, amazing basketball players come to this league, and no one cares. Now people are starting to pay attention because we're getting, and it's not going to stop either because me and Sol have been talking about and ad nauseum about Juju and not Juju Smith-Schuster. They both went to USC, by the way. That was kind of weird how that all kind of worked out.
Yeah, that's where they get their names.
I don't know about that, but
Yeah.
but Juju and Paige Buchers also coming in the league following this next NCAA women's league, and because of how it's finally starting, we're starting to see the respect in a sense. I know there's like you said, there's bad apples, but they're talking about it. If you're the worst thing you could do, and I'm going to use wrestling here, the worst reaction is no reaction. This is the most reaction we've ever seen the WNBA have, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. This is the most reaction we've ever seen. That is my favorite part because I've rattled off a bunch of players. Obviously, Maya Moore, I wish she was still around.
Imagine if Maya was still around to experience
it.
Yep. Also, the most watched finals game did not have Caitlin Clark. So suck it, trolls.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Facts. Some of my favorite moments, I think this was Yahoo Sports that did this video compilation, and it has some of my favorite moments in here. I love that people got to see the W for not just the greatness that was on the court, but then also the personalities of these athletes, which sometimes those are the funnest parts when it comes to following athletes, is their personality.
Looking at it here, like Cheryl Miller's looking at this being like, about damn time. You know, I mean, she was looked at as better than Reggie Miller. I know they're siblings, but still.
Don't know what I'm doing, but I'm having fun.
I did not know it was possible to tear your ACL playing knockout.
She got her hands on a lot of balls, blocked a lot of shots. You know how I zoom.
There it is. Oh, yeah. That's good.
I sprint everywhere. I sprint in my apartment.
No, it's not.
Sprint. I sprint. I love sprinting.
You know, the earlier struggles in the season when, you know, people were thinking, okay, like, you know, maybe the Aces were cooked.
She was auditioning for One Tree Hill. 7 Heaven.
I was projectile vomiting in game one, the whole game. So to be honest, like I kind of like that yesterday at a sushi bar.
For us today.
Sushi Glory Hole.
Get my hands on as many balls as I could, and take advantage of that. Caitlin?
And then Collier is going to get called for a...
Oh my gosh. Sorry.
Good shit.
I couldn't help it when she said the sushi comment. Sushi Glory Hole.
But great year of WNBA.
Mm-hmm.
We
arguably
have,
the best. As we're never mind. You get into it. Damn it! I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry.
Hands down the best one, man.
Yeah.
The most money making, which will equal bigger contracts next year, and more money and more support and resources for them, and then the most watched, dude. Hands down the best.
And speaking of bigger contracts here, the WNBA Players Association votes to opt out of the 2020 collective bargaining agreement. So the day after Game 5, the WNBPA put this video out saying they're opting out of their 2020 collective bargaining agreement. Let's watch the video.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I want to opt out.
The WNBA, you know, if you want us to be here, you have to pay us more. It's business.
Everyone, buckle up. It's about to be a fun day. This is our opportunity to get it right.
Deuces.
Quick little video there. With them opting out, the players in the league have until the end of the 2025 season to negotiate a new CBA. This year has been a historic WNBA with record viewerships, increase in attendance by 48%, and increase in merchandise sold by 600%. The key issues for the WNBPA are 1, establishing a new economic model where players' wages reflect a growth in business. The current max salary right now is $252,000. Build upon professional standards with consistency across the league, not just New York, Seattle, Las Vegas, and Phoenix that have the lead in changing and having better facilities for their players. So like basically those 4 franchises have done so great for their players and having good facilities. The other franchises, there was a moment where it was playoff game and Connecticut had to share put the partition on the freaking court and only have half the court because there was an event going on the other side. So they were practicing for a playoff game.
These teams are the Oakland A's of
yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then
and Oakland Raiders too.
True. And then the other one is the expansion to lifelong benefits, including retirement and family planning. The WNBA commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, released a statement later that day saying, with the historic 2024 WNBA season now in the books, we look forward to working together with the players and the WNBPA on a new CBA that is fair for all and lays the foundation for growth and success for years to come. So, Tvshka, they may be getting their money.
Oh, yeah, they will. And if not, then they're just going to start their own league and somebody else will pay them. Whether it be Elon Musk or be, fucking Ice Cube. I mean, whoever it is. I mean, we got a 3v3 going. Some additional leagues that, will get the money in the off season. Yeah, and it's just really cool to see a unified front. I don't know. It'd just be nice if, us as fucking Americans would do the same thing and unite this November whenever we say, the electric slide sucks, dude. It fucking sucks, bro. God, it's trash. So trash.
Well, on that note, Josh, you have any thoughts before we go to Kicking and Screaming?
Obviously,
we still have more. We have more things to go. Guys, I don't have time. I love y'all. I just don't have time. Josh, take it away. Like and subscribe.
You got it, man.
See ya.
See you.
Love y'all.
Love you. So Sol and I, we went through discussion with this because I kind of just brought up in our just discussions this week because once the bargaining agreement came out, I did a deep dive in it, and then I alluded to you, and then you did a deep dive in it because there's some articles, even obviously some of them are from the sources that are like they're just pushing a narrative. And then we're like, all right, but when's that other article? And SI did publish it. Now, granted, they're quoting other teams. Again, there's multiple articles that say this, but and we both did, that WNBA took a $40 million loss. That is what has been said and what multiple articles have said. Now, most of them are pushing an agenda. SI did release an article saying that. And SI never put, as far as I know, they're just trying to, they're not pushing an agenda other than the only agenda they have is the swimsuit edition. Like that's the only agenda that I know of that they have is like, we got to make sure we get our swimsuit edition. Shout out to Alana Maher.
But then we also found CBS Sports putting a similar article as well. Because my pushback on Josh was just like, okay, SI is quoting another
New York Post,
Daily
Mail,
and, Yeah, and it was like they're kind of quoting sources that I don't trust very much. And then every other article I saw was quoting New York Post, Daily Mail like that. And I was just like, okay, can we find somewhere where there's enough sources that we trust, like SI, that are putting something. And then when I saw CBS Sports, I'm like, okay, we can now go forward with this investigative journalism.
Right. So yes, we've done the research, people. Crazy thing that no one ever does. But we literally, before we came up with our opinion, we actually did our research and I just brought up to, I was like, I love the fact that they're separating because they're taking the training wheels off because you got to strike when the iron is hot. And it is the hottest it's ever been, like I just alluded to. And that's why my favorite part is the fact is we're here. The WNBA is here. Granted, was it because of the Caitlin Clark effect? Sure. Ride that right now. And then you had Angel Reese. So it's not like this rookie class. And then I said, like,
and people fell in love with Asia and Nafisa, and literally they started watching and they started falling in love with these players.
Right.
Which
you had those
that was great to see.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, the good part about it is I said the great part about Caitlin Clark is she's going to bring eyeballs to the game. And then when they bring eyeballs to the game, it's a trickle-down effect of like, oh, well, and then you watch her play this person, like, oh, that
the only
person's
trickle
good.
down that actually works.
Allegedly, but this isn't a political thing. But you have the effect. It's a gateway. She's the gateway, and we're not Caitlin Clark haters here, by the way. We're huge Caitlin Clark fans because she plays the game the right way.
And we're also huge Angel Reese fans. Like,
yes.
You can be both.
You can be both, guys. It's the thing. Anyway, but you got to strike when the iron's hot, and this is exactly what they're doing. And then through our discussions, because it's hard to make up, because like you were alluding to too, every year they're meeting $10 million loss, and this a $40 million loss.
So before this year, every year they were working at a $10 million loss each year.
Yeah. So, and from an investor standpoint, you're like, why would I invest in that, right? Like you're saying, like, why am I joining a sinking ship in that retrospective? If you're just looking at the math, that is a dying ship. Not really. It's the fact of how it's all sorted out.
Yeah.
Right. How is that collective bargaining? So they have rights to, because it's NBA franchises that are keeping this afloat, which is, I'm glad that they're doing it because we're finally getting to this point where they can do it. Because unfortunately, for the past years of the league, you kind of needed that. You needed the training wheels because they weren't going to, they could survive on their own, but we didn't have the multiple media outlets and sponsorships and stuff like that. The money wasn't.
And sometimes too, you didn't have WNBA owners that cared.
No.
Like, let's look at the New York Liberty, for example. They used to play in Madison Square Garden.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were kicked out of Madison Square Garden. And then they played at a 2,000 seat arena with stairs that, like,
right,
the players were climbing upstairs, like I think in Westchester for several years. So, and then these new owners that came in was just like, no, we're going to get you better facilities and we're going to bring you to Barclays and we're going to make, like, with the Nets, we're going to, like, speak to them, be like, hey, can we use this facilities as well? And kind of upping the thing where they are now a franchise that, like, is respected because of what these new owners have done. So I think getting owners that care, that we've seen with Seattle, we've seen with Phoenix, we're seeing with LA, with New York, if each franchise can have owners that care, that are investing in these players, that are investing in their product, that's just going to bring more and more money.
Right. And you, like you said, like we were alluding to with Caitlin Clark, like she was offered $3 million to be in the men's 3v3. So we already know there's people that are going to gravitate to this league. Obviously, we've gone over the numbers. I mean, there was 1.2 for the finals. Like, I mean,
there was, and then this last one, I think it was 2 million were watching, and then it peaked at 3.3 million people watching. So, like, that wasn't happening before this year.
And this was with NFL, and like, well, let's just put it in perspective of the Game 5. They were going on postseason and the NFL.
Yeah.
And they still
MLB, NFL, WNBA, and then MLS playoffs are going on right now. Not that that's probably taking away any views from the WNBA, but still there's a lot of sports going on.
But there's a lot of sports going on. The fact that you still had that rating, as Tvshka alluded to, without Caitlin Clark. So you're going, even though it's a $40 million loss, and that is nothing to sneeze at. Math is math. You just can't. You can't sneeze at that. And like we were talking about, the reason that is, like, how did you lose $40 million when you had the most successful year that you can think of? Is because they invested more, but they didn't have the business plan. They were like, oh shit, people are giving us crap. Let's do private jets.
Time to prepare, and all this time to prepare, and they didn't prepare when Caitlin arrived. They thought things were going to be business as usual, and it was not.
It was not. No, Caitlin brought in. It's a Caitlin Clark effect. It's just what, There's no way around it. Like, it's a Caitlin Clark effect, but it ended up being a good thing for the fact of where we're going to the future. You can sit there and look at, well, why would you invest in something that's a $40 million loss? It was a $40 million loss because they weren't set up correctly. And there's enough other people out there. I mean, hell, freaking Dave Portnoy for Barstool offered her $10 million to play on their rec league, right? The money's there. It is out there.
And not just for Caitlin either. Like, the money's there for all these players.
No.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is, like, yes, $40 million is hard to overcome. Math is math. There's one thing about math, you can't bullshit it.
Yeah.
But to sit there and look at all the numbers and to see 3 million viewers with Monday Night Football going on, or Sunday Night Football. Yeah, it was Sunday Night Football. Sunday Night Football going on and MLB going on with big implications, and you're still peaking at 3.
Yeah.
Without Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese, like, I hope.
And
like
without Asia too.
And without Asia, without Kelsey Plum, who is definitely a figure. And she's a great basketball player, but she's also more social based because of all the Darren Waller bullshit. But I think this will still be successful. I think you're taking the training wheels off.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been waiting for this for 20 plus years of them finally taking training wheels off. But what were you saying?
28.
Yeah.
That's how long this league
years.
has existed.
And it's all been, and they've been taking loss after loss after loss, but they really didn't have anything to be like, okay, I think we're ready.
Mm. And also, too, they were ready beforehand and they had superstars beforehand, but unless you have people invest, it's not going to go forward.
They would not do this unless they knew of number one, which
is bullshit, but it is what it is.
I mean, I'm not made out of money. I wish I was. But you can't bullshit numbers. That's the Federal Reserve. Shout out. Yeah, Tvshka just said that. Yeah.
Thought you left.
Yeah. Anyway, my last thing is when we talked about, and it's a big thing with any type of organization, especially when you're not media, but you're an entertainment-based organization, you need TV rights. Which the bargaining agreement basically was like, we'll give you TV, but we're still going to control everything. It's all them now. So now the ball, all pun intended, the ball is in their court. I like it. And
we see with right now, like Nafisa Collier and Stewie, which is funny. All the memes of like all their meetings for Unrivaled, they're at a really long table now on other side because of this finals. But they got TV rights with TNT. Mm-hmm. They got a better TV rights deal than the WNBA currently has right now.
Yeah.
And they're a new league starting this year, 3v3 basketball. That's what shows you with big names, and there's still 4 players yet to be announced because it's a 30-player league. But right now, this is without Caitlin Clark. And they are getting already all of this noise and this TV rights deal. So if Unrivaled can do it, a league that technically doesn't exist yet until January, then the WNBA can do it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where they go. I mean, they're going to get pushback, but no, if you don't get pushback, then obviously you're not causing any ruffles. All right. Let's kick and scream this thing.
MLS playoffs. They're set. Before we speak about the bracket, we have to speak my team, Inter Miami.
Are we going to talk about Red Bulls? Oh, man.
Well, we'll get to it. Inter Miami broke the single season's point record with 74 points on the season with their win against the former points holder at 73 points, New England Revolution. This game's final score was 6-2. And let's just think about New England's perspective. They were up 2-0 I was at this game. They were up 2-0. They were thinking, you're not taking our record from us. No way. And Messi was on the bench because we're like, we got playoffs coming up. Let's bench him for a little bit. We'll be fine. And then Suarez scores 2 goals, ties it up. Then Messi comes in afterwards. We get we're not going to do American scoring goals, but we get a score from Benjamin Gramaski. Then we get a hat trick from Messi. And we end up winning 6-2.
Oh, great. You're the best team with Messi. It's fun to watch, though.
And we got to celebrate our supporter shield, which we already officially won in the previous game, but we got to have that. I got to stay after. I got to watch the fireworks, them actually hoisting that trophy. And we got some news, too. As we're celebrating Supporter Shield win, Gianni Infantino, the president of FIFA, was there. And the funny thing is, he gets announced. Everyone was booing him because he's Gianni Infantino, president of FIFA. If you know anything about FIFA at all, you can understand why that man was being booed.
The most corrupt sports organization? No, go ahead.
Most corrupt sports organization in the world. But Inter Miami's going to be playing at the Club World Cup. And the first game is going to be hosted at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. So a lot of people are angry about this. They're like, you're just handing Inter Miami a part of this tournament by fake rules that didn't exist before. I mean, it benefits my team, so I'm fine with it. But yeah, FIFA corrupt? What? Never.
It's the fact that he called his shit the electric slide. Just what the hell? And then FIFA Mantooth is a saint. Okay.
Dorothy Mantooth is a saint. We will be doing a proper bracket bitches show to get all our picks in, but we're gonna preview this bracket a little bit. Join us down in the Discord below. If you want to put in a bracket yourself, we need them in by Friday, I believe at 8 p.m. Eastern. So you can join our Discord. You can fight to see who's going to have the best bracket or not. Like, join us. Maybe you'll win. Maybe.
My 2004 brain's still stuck in 2004.
I know it is.
I'm seeing what he's typing. Anyway, we're doing some. We're doing. Keep going, Sol. You're good.
But let's look at this bracket here. We have, and just to put a little space, we got the best record in the West, best record in the East. There, Los Angeles Football Club, LAFC, and Inter Miami. Let's go Eastern Conference first. So they did have a game yesterday. 8th seed Montreal, this is the wild card, hosted 9th seed Atlanta United yesterday, with Montreal forcing the game to penalties after tying the game after being down 2-0. So they were down 2-0. They end up tying, but unfortunately for them, Atlanta still ends up winning, with Montreal missing their second penalty. So now we know who's going to be playing Inter Miami in the wild card. That's going to be Atlanta United. So right now, 1st seed Atlanta United versus 9th seed first seed Inter Miami versus 9th seed Atlanta United. Who you got, Josh?
I mean, it's Inter Miami until they face the team that I think they could beat them, which is probably maybe the U.S. men's national team at this point. I mean, Inter Miami spend way too much money to lose.
Hey, I'm with you, Inter Miami there. Now we go 2nd seed Columbus Crew versus 7th seed, your boys at the New York Red Bulls. Are they going to upset?
What? It's the Red Bulls until I say they're not 8th seed anymore, so I'm good.
And then we got 3rd seed FC Cincinnati, 6th seed the boys across the river from the Red Bulls, NYCFC. Who you got?
You just want to see my reaction to this one. That's what you want. I'll give the viewers what they want. Okay. The fact that the number 3 seed is existing is just an abomination to this league. Okay. They should not be in the league. They should have never been in the league. The fact that Cincinnati can spell soccer is so surprising to me at this point. Or football. They're in the with the U. Like the fact that they can spell either one of those, much less have a team that's a 3 seed, is just an abomination. It's an embarrassment. 6 seed all the way.
So you're gonna have a Hudson River Derby in the next round?
Yes.
I'm going a little bit. I'm going different than you. I think it's going to be Hella's Real Derby between Columbus and Cincinnati. But next up, we got in the East, 4th seed Orlando City versus 5th seed Charlotte. Orlando, Charlotte, where you going?
Now this is the tough one for me. Watching so much, not much MLS. Orlando is always scrappy that I've seen. Louisville is their farm team, so I'm gonna go with Orlando based off that. I know you don't like Orlando. I know they're your rival.
Going against,
but I still got to support our farm team, and the fact that Louisville FC should be in that 3 seed Cincinnati spot. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be picking Orlando City. I'm gonna be picking Charlotte.
Well,
and
I know that.
The main reason for that too is Tim Ream.
No, if you went for Orlando, I would check making sure that you are not like you're not just some like clone or something. Who are you?
All right, and I'm gonna check the other wild card. Just looked at this game. Okay, so the other wild card, we're going over to the West, is 8th seed Vancouver versus 9th seed Portland. And Vancouver is currently beating Portland 5-0 in the 85th minute. So let's just make a guess here and say Vancouver's going to win. So you got...
Canada's not good at soccer. I don't care if they're really good internationally with their international team. They're just not. It's just hard for me to not see them being good. Something that doesn't involve ice skates.
Hey, but
I know they're good.
I mean, a team from Florida won the ice skate sport.
That's hilarious too. This day
against a Canadian team. But anyways, we're not speaking about that yet. We got 1st seed LAFC, which on decision day, LA Galaxy were the 1st seed for a majority of the season, but LAFC, they were right there at the number 2 spot. And on the last day, on decision day, they got into the number 1 spot. Their 1st seed. They're going to be playing most likely Vancouver. Who you got?
I mean, it's LA. Obviously, the Galaxy have historically been really good.
Had a few down years, but
like I said, historically they've been pretty solid. But LA FC had an okay run last year. Kind of what you alluded to with the Lynx, but not that far. And
they've won a championship soon. They have Will Ferrell.
Yeah, they got Will Ferrell. We during their kit reveal and all that. So, and the writer strike and actor strike is gone, so they're not distracted anymore. So I like them for going forward.
Then we go 2nd seed. Got LA Galaxy versus 7th seed Colorado Rapids. Who you got?
Oh, Colorado's. You don't come from Colorado and not feel really good, man. But I'm still going with Galaxy. I mean, just like I said, I'm going with my history here with
your 2004 brain.
My 2004 brain, especially when we get to that 4 or 5 seed. My 2004 brain will kick up.
Then we got 3rd seed Real Salt Lake versus 6th seed Minnesota United.
I don't know. Part of me thinks I might do an upset here. I might go with the 6th seed.
Hey, guess what? So far, you and I are equal on the bracket in the West.
I don't know. I just have a feeling, just looking at the logos, not knowing anything about the either team. I'm just like, I don't know. Salt Lake Mormons. They really know good soccer.
And then 4th seed Seattle Sounders versus 5th seed Houston Dynamo.
I at least got to go with my 2004 brain's got to go with Seattle. I just got to stick with Seattle here.
Josh, you're the same as me in the West.
All right. I got to go with Seattle. My 2004 brain. So.
There we go. So those are our picks. We'll hear Tvshka's picks. He won't be with us on the Bracket Bitches show. I believe it's going to be Friday. We still got to talk about that, Josh. But it might be this Friday, where we'll do Bracket Bitches. So make sure you join the Discord down below if you want to join us in for Bracket Bitches and put your own bracket in.
No Nashville. Huh.
No Nashville. The next thing is soccer. The U.S. Women's National Team plays tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if that 2-hour practice worked out.
Right. They play tomorrow at 7:30, 6:30 Central on TBS. They do not sponsor us, but if they would like to, we're open. We're open for conversations. Unfortunately for Josh, Trinity Rodman isn't a part of this camp due to a back injury. Tiana Davidson and Croy Bethune are also out due to injury, and Crystal Dunn is out due to personal commitments. A lot of people are speculating she might be pregnant again, but we don't know that for sure, so we'll just put a allegedly with that.
Trinity Rodman, let me say for the record, Trinity Rodman doesn't get hurt. She just wants other people to have a chance to play.
Okay. And then we get the return of Alyssa Thompson and Ashley Sanchez to the team. Both were part of the 2023 World Cup team. We have 6 players on the roster who are uncapped. That means they haven't played for us before, even if they've been called up before. That's defenders Ava Gartino, Alyssa Mallinson, and Emily Sams, midfielder Hal Hirschfeld, and forwards Yasmin Ryan and Emma Sears, who, Josh, she plays for Racing Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
Then on the other side of the spectrum, we have 4 players with 100 caps or more. Lindsay Horan with 156, Alyssa Nair with 112, Rose Lavelle with 106, Mallory Sonson with 100. However, Emily Sonnet, she's on 99 caps and will become the 45th U.S. Women's National Team player to hit 100 with her next appearance. So she's probably going to be hitting 100 caps in this camp.
I'm surprised Alyssa has more than Rose, but I guess thinking about it makes sense.
Rose sometimes has been injured.
Yeah.
U.S. Soccer put out this random stat for this roster, and I'm just going to read it to make us feel old. There are only 5 players on the team in their 30s. Alyssa Nair, Casey Kruger, Lynn Williams, Lindsay Horan, and Emily Sonnet.
Mm-hmm.
How you feeling?
I mean, it stinks that I don't care what you're saying, Tvshka. Okay. She's not caring. Her team is not trash because she's on it. Number 1. Okay. I'm going to do like a
and Magic is part owner of that team.
So number 2, I want to see and also too, this gives us a thing to see, like, how good is our bench? That's just kind of what I'm thinking about this. Let's just see how good our bench is at this point, for how many people are checking out. So even if we lose, I don't want us to lose, obviously, because injuries happen, but I want to see potentials. Yeah. Like, okay, if this happens, I like what I'm seeing with X, Y, and Z of these other, the backup players. So that's what I'm looking for in this game. I want to win. Obviously, I want to dominate every time we get on the pitch. But at the end of the day, if your best players aren't playing, you're going to be behind the 8 ball a little bit as far as winning. Let's just see what else we have.
I mean, and right now, out of starters, pretty much it's Trinity Rodman and Tiana Davidson, possibly Crystal Dunn there. Sometimes she's a starter, sometimes she's not.
I just stopped at Trinity Rodman, so
I know you're talking Trinity. Yeah, we'll see who will come in as a forward for her. But what do you expect for this game against Iceland?
I mean, I still expect us to win. Yeah. Right? You expect it. As long as we, unlike the U.S. men's, as long as we show the fight and the passion.
Which we always do on the women's side.
Yes, we always do. A couple of times that last World Cup, there were some times I'm like, we're missing.
Different coach though, under him.
I know. We got. That's what I'm saying. as long as Emma's a coach, I'm okay with. I have faith in it. That's why I'm worried. Is if we come out here without Trinity Rodman and a couple other players, and we don't show passion, fight, or at least that's effort, I'm gonna get worried.
Yeah,
because it's a culture. It's a culture thing. It's not a team thing. I mean, it's not an individual player thing. I'm sorry.
With me, I have no worries when it comes to the U.S. Women's National Team. And it's not that I think we're going to win every single game, but they have always played with heart, and they've never showed me a reason that they're not going to play with heart. Now, we talk U.S. Men's National Team, completely different story. But the women have always done what they're supposed to be doing, even when they lose. So I'm going to shout them out. Thank you for representing the U.S. well.
But Emma. Yeah, don't the person right next to me won me over with Emma, and she's like the perfect coach that we could ever have hired. And I think
medal.
Other than the other Liverpool coach that I was hoping we would get, I think we still got a really good coach in the U.S. I feel like the stand and deliver of like him just being like, how can I reach these players? Like, how can I reach these kids type of thing? Because it's hard unless he Ted Lassos the shit out of it. I'm worried about the men. I'm just worried about the men because I just don't know how you can turn that many individuals into a winning culture. It's happened before, whereas the culture's already there. Emma just putting in that extra tier of coaching. So that's what I'm with this game, like you're saying, they always play with heart. They always play with passion. But I just have in the back of my mind.
I know the men have got you scared. The men have got you scared.
They just, oh God, they frustrate me so much.
Yeah, just go. Hey, these are
especially
our women. They're not going to do us wrong like the men have. But are we ready to talk about that sport with on the ice with the ice skates and the pucks?
And the pucks and the sticks and the thing? Yeah, let's do that.
Let's light the lamp here. Florida Panthers beat the Vegas Golden Knights 4-3 in overtime. We're not going to talk about the games that they lost. That's not what we're here for. But we will talk games that the Florida Panthers win. And the funny thing is that Las Vegas, they tweeted out, got Bobrovski'd. And just Russian Bob, he continues to save our ass, and we're here for it.
Bob's so good. It all comes down to, like, Nashville here. Pekka Rinne is, like, the first player, like, we're probably going to build a statue for him. That's of all the Nashville players that's come through, in which we've had Forsberg and Yossi have been here for, it feels like 30 years. But Pekka Rinne was like the first one that we really was like the goalkeeper. If you have especially in hockey, and I know a whole lot of nothing about hockey, but what I do know about hockey is if you have a good goalkeeper, obviously defense wins championships, but especially goalkeepers, if you have a good goalkeeper, you're always in the game. And so you had Bob. Guess what happened? You got Bob, you got a championship. Pekka Rinne is a staple of Nashville Predators. We won that cup. We won the President's Cup. We're going to call about it one of the most regular season games, most bullshit thing ever. Unless you win the Stanley Cup, no one cares. Unfortunately, but that was the reason we went from a 6 seed.
I cared when Florida won.
Right? Yeah. You still gotta you gotta. Yeah, but it just at the end of the day, hockey purists, despise that award. And the fact that Nashville,
because it means you're going to lose the Stanley Cup. That's why we were happy that the New York Rangers won the President Cup the final year, because we were like, okay, we can finally win the Stanley Cup. But because we got the return of the NHL and the return of the Florida Panthers, we have the return of Josh's favorite announcer. So let's watch.
I haven't even heard it. I like to always save it for my live reaction for this show. My dude here. Bring on the corny. I got to turn this up for.
He's watching Eichel. Makes his way into the zone. Now it's Theodore shooting. Deflected. Puck won't go. Gustav Forsling closing it on 20 to go. Dennett and Reinhart with him. Reinhart walks in. Setting it up for the game winner. Let's go home, baby! Get on the Gus bus. Forsling wins it.
Opportunity. You can see the speed coming through the neutral zone here. Goes out wide, Reinhardt.
I
Look
can't.
where Forsling goes.
I want him to be our first Rev Sports Wrap It Up guest that we ever have on the show. I cannot quit this dude. I don't know what it is about him. From 4 big bites out of an apple, and I was just like, I can't quit you. And I was like, this is the corniest dude I've ever heard in my life. And then he did another announcement. I'm like, let me know. I did. It's just because he's doing his job, and he brings. Dude, he's the corniest freaking dude ever on the planet of the earth, and I can't get enough of it.
And you love him. You love him.
I love this guy. This I can't get enough of it. It's like one of those cringe things that just like you can't wait for the next thing. I love this dude.
Are you getting on the Gus bus?
Sure.
But you were talking a little bit about your Preds there, Nashville. They're off to a rough start this year, but they finally won their first game in the 6 games that they've played, beating Boston Bruins 4-0. Like I said last week, it's always good when you're beating Boston, which is funny because I'm wearing a Red Sox shirt, but every other Boston team I don't like.
We made a lot of offseason moves, and I liked it. We got, but we're old. And because we did so many offseason moves, therefore it takes a little bit to settle down. The good news about NBA and hockey seasons is you can right the ship. As long as you're good towards the end and can make the playoffs and you got a seat at the table, you're good. So I'm not sitting there saying like, oh, we're terrible. We just got a little growing pains to do. We're a bunch of old vets. We were hoping to come off with a hot start because old vets typically die off at the end. Yeah. But so I'm not obviously 4 games in of a 62 game season, 72 game season.
6 games.
What?
6 games in.
No, 6 games into a 62 game season. Anyway.
I don't know how many games are in, but I know that they have played 6 so far.
Well, it's 10 less than the NBA, and I think the NBA plays 72. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's into that. It's the same thing with like even NBA. It's like there's no one that ever goes 72-0. I'm not right away wave the red flag yet, but this is like I thought we'd be better than this type of thing.
There is one team that is a little bit worse than the Predators right now, and that's the San Jose Sharks. They haven't won a single game this year in the 7 games that they've played, so you could be San Jose.
Yeah. I mean, we could be. I mean, the Reds could have been the White Sox. So
facts.
Which they're looking to sell the team. I'm like, really? How did that happen?
I wonder. On the other side of things, New York Rangers have not lost a game in regulation this year. In the 6 games they played, they have lost 1 in overtime to the Utah Hockey Club. But so far, right now in regulation time, they've been undefeated.
Yeah, the Rangers. Honestly, like they were right there to make the Cup playoffs. They were right there in the mix to win the Cup last year.
Won President's Cup last year.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like they were like the Boston Bruins 2 years ago, who won the most regular season games of all time, and then just ate it to the Florida Panthers in the first round. The Rangers they're not going away. Like this isn't some fluke 7-0, right? It's 6-0.
They are right now. They've played 6 games. They're technically 5-1, but one of them is
went to overtime.
Overtime.
Okay, but still, like that's not just some like Seattle Mariners who gets off to a hot start and then just fizzles out. Rangers are here. Like it's just this is not a fluke. I expect them to be right in the mix. I don't think the Panthers are gonna. It's hard to repeat in hockey. unless you just have that teams of like the Red Wings of the 90s and early 2000s. But the Rangers, I'm kind of with the Rangers.
And looking here, NHL played a total of 82 games.
82. Okay, so it's 10 more than the NBA. Sorry.
But current division leaders right now, we got in the Atlantic Division, my Florida Panthers, Metropolitan, New York Rangers, Central. We're going up to Canada with the Winnipeg Jets, and Pacific, we're staying in Canada with the Calgary Flames. So currently right now, we have there's some teams have only played 5 games, and then there's one team that's played as much as 9 games. So we're in that range right now. So in the 5 to 9 game range, these are our leaders at the moment.
And I hope my heart really wants Calgary to make a deep run for the tragedy that they went through with their player and his brother getting killed in that bike accident. So my heart wants Calgary to keep pushing forward and make a deep run, because it's going to steal the hearts of everyone that are hockey fans or in the sports world. That being said, Winnipeg, glad you're here. I don't think it's going to last. Now, granted, I don't know a whole lot. I know ball, not puck. I did say that. I never said that.
Although, according to Boss Nation, the new NWSL team, puck is just cold balls?
No.
Question mark.
No, about that.
Yeah, guys, we're not going to talk about it here. Go look up that media failure that they did and just the hilarity of it.
Right.
It's a good time. It's a good time. But that's all I have for hockey. You have any final thoughts?
No, like I said, I'm leaning into the Rangers because they haven't lost a step other than not winning the Stanley Cup last year. Neither has the Florida Panthers. But I'm thinking the Rangers are going to take the next step. I think the Maple Leafs will make the playoffs just to lose in the first round like they do every gosh damn year. And I look forward to it every year just to see the Toronto Maple, because as the Toronto Maple Leafs fan of the NFL, known as the Dallas Cowboys, I can't wait for y'all to get hope, get to the playoffs, and then lose, because misery loves company.
They get to the playoffs though.
So does Dallas. Not this year.
I'm just
saying
for some teams don't get to the playoffs in other sports that I follow, and that's sad. So
yeah,
sometimes the playoffs is just a dream.
No. You've made the playoffs. You just haven't had a playoff win since like 2000, 2008, something like that.
It's like as if we're not even there. Anywho, you ready to get weird?
Yeah, let's get weird. And then shout out to Asia and Bam. I hope you have a kid and have like the greatest athlete known to man.
Do the Minnesota Wild do the electric slide? I don't know, but I mean, I'd kind of want to see it on ice. But Asian Bam, Bleacher Report tweeted out this picture of the 20 best NBA players according to Chuck, Shaq, and Kenny, and people were quick to realize Bam Adebayo is in an Asia Wilson number 22 Aces jersey with heart hands.
Yeah.
And there's some great, like, if you really look at this picture, there's like a Bunsen burner in front of Brunson. There's like there's him, LeBron on FaceTime with Bronny. There's fun little Easter eggs without this picture that if you do have time to go really look at it and just, it's a pretty good drawing there, artistry there. But yeah, I didn't notice that because they got Bam all the way there in the back. And then when I saw that, like people realizing that, I was like, oh shit, did they come out? So far, there's no revelation of them fully coming out. The closest that we've had is that Asia Wilson was there in the middle of the WNBA season. She flew to Miami when Bam got the keys to the city, and she was sitting next to his mama, which basically that tells you all you need to know, right? But Asia quote tweeted with this. So just, what are you telling us, Asia?
You're all gonna have the most athletic baby.
Most athletic baby. Mom and dad both gold medalists. Like,
yeah.
I know, Josh, you want this to be true more than anyone else out there. Your thoughts on this next chapter in the Asia and Bam story?
I think this is the greatest. This is awesome. We always live for. This is Love and Basketball, guys. This is Love. The movie Love and Basketball is happening right in front of us. Okay, we have to cheer for it. Cheer for love. Also,
cheer
that
for
being
Mr.
said,
and Mrs. Wilson.
Yes. That being said, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again: if they ever actually conceive a child, the gender reveal party will have so many coaches at it. And once the gender is revealed, if it's a boy, you will see female coaches leave immediately. If it's a female, you will see male coach players immediately leave. Okay? So, and then once they leave, then you'll have all those coaches of the actual gender trying to have them sign a letter of intent right there.
I
mean, all the NILs.
You know that if it's a girl, wherever Dawn is, that's where that girl's going.
Most likely.
Yeah.
And now if it's a boy, you think, but is Calipari going to stick around for another 18 years? Probably not. Now, Dawn, unless she gets a WNBA or an NBA job, she's going to be in South Carolina in 18 years. I don't expect her to go anywhere. Calipari's on his last leg. Now, the male could play football. I doubt it. It's probably going to be more. Now, I will say this, though. Female-wise, it's based off of genetics and height. She might go volleyball.
Maybe. There was not talking about it really, not in our rundown, but there was a volleyball player for a team that was playing against South Carolina, and she was just fooling around in the South Carolina gym shooting hoops, and she made a video for TikTok saying, "I'm just trying to get Dawn Staley to notice me." And apparently someone brought it to Dawn, and Dawn was like, "You want to have a meeting?"
Right. Yeah. You can't teach 6'4" guys. Or however tall they are. That person was.
But that was our getting a little weird here. I mean, I don't find it weird if those two fall in love and get together.
We are pro-love here.
Pro-love. But Josh, where can the people find us?
Oh, the people can find us Monday through Thursday, at least, coming to you live. On Mondays, me and Tvshka, who you saw here earlier, not talking about his Chiefs as much, but talking about every player in the NFL that actually scores points and does well for your fantasy teams and our fantasy F around. On Tuesdays, me and my buddies sit there and play some video games and gripe. And we're all 30 plus years old, and we still argue about video games and whose armor gets to what. So join us over there for that. And then on Wednesday, you see our faces talking about that is the week in sports from Wednesday to Wednesday. Okay. And any sports stories that pique our interest or anything of that nature, please comment down below of things that we're missing. So we like to touch on anything you want us to touch on, especially sports stories, not just scores and stuff from around the country. Mm-hmm. We'd rather more intricate of stories, and like we talk about with the WNBA bargaining agreement or any off the field issues, the Texas throwing bottles and how that shows precedents, like those storylines. We want to more touch on those on top of just going through the rundown of how great certain games were, especially with the WNBA finals being as electric as they were. On Thursday, myself and Justin Toner will break down everything that is, was, and will be in the world of wrestling, in Ruckus Wrestling. And we also just recently did a live watch along for their pay-per-view, or they call them PLEs now, which premium live events, because it's on Peacock. You don't actually pay for it. But we are looking to do another watch along. We're kind of figuring things out as far as our schedules, but we'd love for you all to join us over there as well. We also have a bunch of other shows that we're working on. Obviously, Bracket Bitches, as so alluded to. Please join us over there. The more the merrier on there, so you can sit there and feel good about your bracket, and also talk crap about me, because I'm probably going to pick a bunch of 2004 great teams that suck now. Mainly the Red Bulls in Seattle. But still join us over there. And also we're working on some other shows. So it's not right now. We're solid Monday through Thursday. And thank you all still for helping us get to over 100 subscribers. It's been a journey, but it's been fun as hell to do it. And we're trying to get to 500 at this point. This is the goal for 500. But please comment down below, like, subscribe, all that jazz. And if you're thinking about doing some other shows, please join us on the Patreon, but not on Discord, but also join us on the Patreon, patreon.com/RuckusTV, as we will help you. Links all below. But that's where you're going to find us. We're here every week with our faces. If I'm annoying, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to be.
We love you, Josh. We love you, Josh. We love you so much that we allow you to be on screen 4 times a week.
Yeah, I don't know how I get away with it.
But ready for a moment of Zen?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Easy peasy. What? Easy peasy. Keezy cheesy. Olive juice. Oh, you love me? Mm-mm. Olive juice. All of you. Olive juice. What is this? Olive juice. I love you. No, I don't. Take olive juice. What? Never mind, bro. Jingle bells. Wiggle well. Jingle bells. Tinkle bell. Jingle bells. Dingle bell. I will be like your mama do. Strawberry. What? Strawberries. Strawberry. Yeah.
She got one.
Bye, everyone. We love you.